leaning into that energy of like oneness and like that, so to be able to centralize your energy so that you can put all of your focus and momentum behind something. And I think my trick is my where I get trapped, if you will, or caught up is I can get into things and become tunnel vision at the cost or at the expense
Mm.
of things. And that's what I kind of took away from Steve's story, at least how it was told depicted through this movie. It was like I was talking to myself this morning. I was like, because of his level of perfectionism, which I also identify with, it was his greatest strength and it also his biggest hindrance. You know, it
It's
was
true.
his worst enemy at the end of the day as well. And so, you know, like finding that balance, finding that center of like, okay, like yes, you want to have your artistry and your aesthetic, and that,
Yeah,
you know,
but
that
then
also carries. But then when does it tip over into like, you know, you're like trying to be precious and perfect with it because you don't want it to be seen until it's like fully complete and ready. And then it's like, okay, that also can suck the life and the love out of things as well. So
out of the thing that made it fun.
yeah, yeah.
It's true. But that's, again, that's why I think the time is such an important piece because most people always feel like they're battling for time. And
Hmm.
it's like, again, I appreciate the perspective that was given to me where it's like you can't battle for something you didn't create. So you're battling for time, but you didn't make time. You were born into time. So the only
Hmm.
thing we have to figure out is how to make time serve us. And
Yes.
that's really, a part of that, I think, is knowing that you're born in a system. Like if everything,
Hmm.
it's easier to think, not easier. I think it's hard to believe that things will come on time when you're in the struggle, but
Hmm.
it's easier when things are going your way.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's a question of faith a lot of the time is that when things are really hard, all of a sudden now, it was so much easier for everyone to say, like, oh, timing's great, all this other type of stuff is great. But when it's the opposite being experienced and you want the universe to hurry up or this, that, and the third,
Hmm.
it's like, do you know, even when things were working out for you, the universe still wasn't rushing for you.
Mm.
So it's not like you just will it to rush for you. Like it's always been consistent. It's always been, oh, everything
Mm.
is laying out the way it's supposed to be laid out. You just
Hmm.
felt really good and you felt the universe was working in your favor when things were going well. And then when things
Hmm.
don't go well, you're just like, well, what happened? I thought we were great. I thought we were cool. And it's just like, no, we still cool, but I still have to operate the way that I operate. Like we not friends,
Right.
like
Like we beefing universe. What's
right.
going on?
Like, what did I do? You talk to me. You let me know. And it's just like, you didn't do nothing. Like, we still chilling. Like, we still exist together. Like, so,
Mm.
but yeah, I think even when I heard her talk about the 10 years and stuff, and like you said, with your gift, it just goes to show when God gives you a gift, it never leaves.
Mm.
So it's just one of those things to where as soon as I heard her go into photography, I was like, oh, this is Mickey. Like, that's exactly where I went in my head. And I was battling with like a sore throat earlier.
Mm.
I came in like, don't mind me at all. Like, I'm half raspy, half
Mm.
rushing after kids, and the other quarter of me is trying to get myself together for the morning. So I'm like all over the place. But when I heard her do photography, I automatically thought of you, and I was just like,
Wow.
you have to really be, we have to really be grateful for the gifts that we're given because
Mm.
it's almost like God gave us a security blanket. Like,
Mm.
hey, listen, you can try whatever you want, but just remember I gave you this gift. So if you ever need something to fall back on, you can always look right here. Like, and again, it's something just, I practice my gratitude in, but I thought about you immediately and I was like, oh yeah, Mickey's gonna definitely love it. Because again, why could it not be you?
Mm. Mm.
It could definitely be you. It's just if
Mm.
you love what you do and if you find that
Yes.
happiness in it. And you can
That's.
tell even when I was feeding from her, I said, hey, listen, we're proud. I was like, I'm proud to walk with you. Like, I'm proud that you
Hmm.
exist. I'm happy that
Hmm.
you're out here capturing the spirit of people because that's what we don't even know if y'all two lives at that moment was meant to meet there. And that was the whole purpose.
Mm.
We don't know.
Mm.
But we do know that you are finding yourself. And she seemed a little, I don't know what the word is it for. I'm trying to like, I'm studying more vocabulary stuff to kind of define
Mm.
what I feel when my
Hmm.
heart feels things. It's like she was still anxious, I guess, about how the drop would go, and you could feel some type
Hmm.
of anxious energy. And I was just like, but listen, like you already did it. Like it's already out there. You know what I mean? So it's like you can have your goals and stuff like that, but I think the hardest part is having that vulnerability and that transparency and giving it to the world. And now you sit there and you kind of bite your nails like, oh my God, how are they going to judge this? I think
Hmm.
it's better. to not even care about it. It's art.
Yes.
Who
Yes.
cares? Like, who
Yes.
cares how people feel? Like it was the brave thing was you putting it out, not how people are gonna
That
receive it.
100%. It really is.
And you could
It
feel she's
really
like
is.
waiting for like the reception of it and stuff, which again, I get it. It's totally human to be like, I spent all this time. I wonder how people are gonna care about
Mm-hmm.
it. But I was like, no one's ever gonna care about your art more than you.
Mm-hmm.
So you already give it meaning. You already give, I mean, who else spent all that time going into freaking Wyoming and chasing down all these women to do? Ain't none of us do
Okay,
that.
driving across the state in the snow.
Like,
Girl,
I was like,
we're
none
gonna
of
have
us did
to do
that.
the rest
Like,
of this
no.
year, child. We're gonna do this in the spring.
I was like, none of us did that. You doing something that none of listen, not in my wa if God have it for me, I guess I'll do it. But it's just like I don't see myself going cross country in the desert. Oh no. Mm-mm. A desert retreat. Not not a desert walk. I ain't doing that. But that's what we're here to remember. I completely
Yeah.
agree with you. We're here to remember that. Because I think if we were made perfect, we were made perfect, but if we were made remembering that we were, it'd be boring.
Mm. Yeah.
Like this is all the fun, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oof. At a cosmic galactic level, it's fun. On a human level, this is what a bird.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, we be sitting here going like, but listen, like, listen.
That's
We
why I always say
this
it's so
is this
important to look
episode.
at
This
things
is
from
this
a soul
episode.
level. Exactly. No, it is this episode. That's why I always remind myself, like, even when I'm speaking to tragedies and things like that, and people, my friends get on to me because I don't really watch the news. And, I learned about whatever was going on in Minnesota like a week after it happened, which I still feel like was still pretty on time. But, I'm not on necessarily embedded into things like
The
that. And part of that
politics,
is,
social.
yeah.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
part of that is intentional. And the other part of it is just to just have some separation so that I can see things more from that higher level, more from and not be so immersed in it with the muck and the thick.
Oh, so you don't know about the walk? Do you know about the walk of peace that's happening?
Yeah, someone just told me about that the other day.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing.
Was
They're
it
on
not you? The Buddhist.
79. Yeah, the
Someone was
Buddhists.
just I
Yeah.
listen, and this is why I don't watch the news. The universe is not community is the news.
Yeah, right. I remember you
I
said
be
that too.
hearing
You were
about
just
stuff
like,
right on
I have
time.
y'all to tell me what's going on. I don't have to tune in. And it's like, well,
Literally, someone would oh, maybe it was at the dog park. It had to have been the dog park. That's the only place I've been lately to talk to people. And that's when someone was telling me. Mhm,
really? No,
mhm.
it's been phenomenal. Like when I mean like it's been so touching. It brought up a whole bunch of religious stuff that hopefully next week I get to talk about in my episode of Christian versus Pagans because I
Oh,
can't wait.
right.
I'm gonna bring that up so bad. But I'm gonna
Oh.
be like, so what about the Buddhists then? But what about the Buddhists walking through Texas?
Mhm.
Well, they were from Florida and they had to go. It's kind of sad, but they had to go around Georgia. They had to take another path because the
Hmm.
Bible Belt, like you were talking about, a lot of Christians try to block them and
Mm.
basically say like you're going to hell, this, that, and the third. But a lot of the people behind them, which included Christians, of course, like you know how they say like I don't want to call it enlightened because I don't like putting the tears because it makes it seem like we're battling each other. But
Mhm.
the people who get it, right? So it
Yeah,
doesn't matter what religious identity you have. When you are spiritually in tune, you're spiritually in tune with everybody. So the
exactly.
people who are spiritually in tune, no matter what they call themselves, including Christians, they're telling the other Christians on the other side, like, yo, get out the way.
Mhm.
Like this is not what Jesus wants. Like they're basically Christians battling other Christians on behalf of the Buddhists.
Mm.
And they're like, yo, we're not even sitting here talking to you. Like we're literally just they're literally just walking. That's all they're doing. And people are coming up to them with food and cards and gifts. And there's a little dog that's so cute. That's basically like their little shepherd that's like walking around with them. I think his name
Oh,
is a Loke. And
okay.
he had to get like a surgery. So there was like vets coming out to help the dog.
Wow.
It was just, it's amazing what, again, we don't broadcast this stuff enough, but that is what humanity really looks like when we really just break
Mm.
everything down.
There you go, right there. Bingo. That's what humanity really
Yeah,
looks
of
like.
course. We could have been, listen, you and me ain't fool. We could have been mastered this. We know what to do. It's just, again, we let some people kind of, again, the Buddhists say, you walk what you walk. So the people
Mm.
who do evil on the planet, I come to assume that good lets evil do the things that it does because
Mhm.
we want everyone to come to their own path authentically. Like
Mhm.
good forcing evil to be good would be evil. So good doesn't do that. Good like
Mm.
allows evil to happen so that you can come to goodness by yourself. Like goodness doesn't force you to be good. Evil
Mhm.
will corrupt you. Evil will trick you and deceive you and do all the other things to basically have you forfeit your power. But
Mm.
good in itself will never persuade you, will never sit here and go like, no, you have to be over here. You have to know we're just gonna keep moving. And if you hold us down the middle of the street, then that's on you. And if you hang us,
Mm.
that's on you. And if you sell us, that's on you. And if you do all these things, that's on you because you have to really know at the end of all this, we all meet up. What are you gonna say to me when I'm you and you're me and you enslaved me? You
Mm.
enslaved you? Like what how are you gonna reconcile that with yourself?
Mm.
I wouldn't want to be that person. I wouldn't want to be the person where I like rob somebody and then at source, I am looking at myself rob myself and I'm just like, why would I do that?
Like, what the hell sense does that make?
Yeah, like what's the what? What? And it's just like, so that's what I feel like is happening with that part.
Mm.
And again, that's always my go-to when I say that humanity has come to such a peace with like violence and stuff like that. But in the transition of emotional, we're starting to see how much inner war people,
Mm-hmm.
how much
Yeah.
inner turmoil and inner conflict. Because before we were warring outside. Now it's like, hey, listen, the war is inside too. It's not just external, it's internal. And that's where feminine energy comes in.
Mm.
'Cause we be ruling that inner house, girl. We be ruling the inner house. It's like, bring back divine femininity. Come on, let's go. We've been waiting. Some of us
Woo.
old and wrinkly, but we've been waiting.
Mm.
Like,
Waiting.
we've been waiting for y'all.
Mm-hmm. Souls then reincarnated and everything. And
The,
came
the,
back.
the
They said,
little
I'm
the
here
little
for round
princess
three.
toddler, the little princess toddler at 5 talking about, It's like how she know? Because she a great 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 grandmother. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why
She's like,
she's
I gotta
snapping
come
at
back
you
and
like
help
that.
these. They still need my help.
You know, oh, girl, don't you know we come? Listen, I'm not gonna lie. If I found out one of my offspring was going wild, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting born into you. Come, you gonna born me because y'all out here. Like I told y'all not. That sounds like such grandma energy. I told
Mm,
y'all not to embarrass me when I left.
that's so
Like
funny.
it's real truth. It really is. But
That's so funny.
yeah, you would love that boo. Like it was so touching. I cried at it a couple times. Like it was such an emotional thing because sometimes you wonder, like I'm more in the political space, I'm more in the social space. And a lot of my debates is people really feeling more nihilistic than ever, like, oh,
Mm,
humanity will never get it together, we're corrupted, we're too far gone or whatever.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of time is me trying to disprove what they're saying, like, no, that's not true, because there's more good that happens than bad. What we
Mm-hmm.
tend to do, I don't know why humans do this, but what we tend to do is take a bad experience and make it a whole year or a whole month or a whole whatever. But most of your days on this planet are good. Most of
Why?
your days you kind of
Why do
just
you
in
think
here
that is?
neutral until
Why
you
do you think
decide to
that
get into
is?
something or you know what I mean? Whatever
Right.
it's going to be. So when the Walk of Peace came up, a lot of people who I like get into discourse and stuff with came back and said, I finally see what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, because when did the Buddhists ever come to America? The Christian nationalist America. You want Buddhists to come over here? Okay. Like, again, and we've never been that tapped in before. So I think
Mm,
it's something really beautiful to witness and it's I think you'd really like it. Like just seeing how and again, I know you come from that part of the South. So it's
mm-hmm.
just you hear like a lot of you see the grandma cooking pancakes and offering the monks pancakes. Like they haven't some I don't think they've ever seen this much of the world in one place for real. But you get pancakes
Mm.
and ribs and corn, what they call it? What do Mexicans call that? Not machete, what do they call it?
Oh, elote?
Yes, yes, they get all that within like 3 blocks. And I'm just like, do you see what I mean?
Wow. You know what? That just hearing that too, as you were initially sharing that reflection about what they're doing, what the Buddhists are doing, it just reminded me of like how taken care of and how provided for you can be when you're truly in your like in your path and on your purpose. And I think
Right? Because they
the
didn't ask.
society, right? And I feel like society and the world at large, you're talking about evil versus good and all of that. And I feel like this is a very oversimplified explanation of this, but I think it still kind of like colors the point, if you will. But I think society and the world at large has done a good job of attempting to convince us that to do good or to be good or to to take a more peaceful approach. It's dangerous. You're going to get taken advantage of. X, Y, and Z. Da da da. Excuse me. And I think the
Mhm.
irony of it all is that it's the whatever that may look like in your reality. For some people, it's their boss. For some people, it's their parents, it's their partner, whatever that person is in your life. It's interesting because more often than not, they're the ones that are doing the things that they're projecting that the if you were to step into your purpose or step into be a better or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That all these things are going to happen to you, but they're the ones that are typically the perpetrators of those things
And
taking
I have to
place.
wonder, because to your point too, like, and I love using the philosophy I adopted as like a foundation, because those are always the harder questions I ask myself. Like, if I tell someone that they chose their journey, how do I answer the question of like, well, why would I choose a family who would abuse me? Or why would I choose, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always
Mm-hmm.
that dark and light side thing to it. And I think that even when we talk about like, okay, like the family that is abusive, or the partner that did me wrong, or we can go darker, but let's
Mm-hmm.
even staying in that sphere. I think that is a lot of the forgery that comes even with the philosophy I talk about. And I think the initial philosophy is that God is good. Like, that's the initial argument. Like, if God is good, then why evil? Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
usually where people fall in. I have a comfortable answer for it that kind of guides me through life, but it's just like how I adopted Buddhism and Taoism. Like,
Mm-hmm.
everyone has their flow. So I don't look at the person who argues me or who can't understand that part as someone lesser than me. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I just remember when I was there. I remember when that didn't make any sense. That was my argument against God. I was atheist too. I remember when it was just like, well, you can't prove to me God exists because God's not here. He's beyond the five senses, da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, I walked my own walk. If there's anything that I know I picked this family for, is that for some reason they allowed me to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they might not agree with everything that I said, but they allowed me to walk. Like, my parents, I always tell people, parents bring you in this world and they can take you out on some real
Mm-hmm.
talk. So just being able to say, hey, listen, even if me and my parents got into a disagreement or something, it's like they still, yeah, with some turmoil and obviously with a lot of bad disagreements, a lot of fights, they still allowed me to be. And they still kept the door open for whenever I returned, which is all as a parent you can really do. Like, when I think about my
Mm-hmm.
kids, I'm just like, when y'all go y'all on path, the only duty I have as a parent, as a mother, is to make sure my door is never closed and my porch lights are always on, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's always just that. We might not agree, you might not talk to me for several years or whatever the case may be, but whenever you are ready to come home, you know where home is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a blessing again in how people kind of pick and choose. But me, you talked about it a couple weeks ago, that I feel like the reason why I feel so strongly about the philosophy that we draft our own stories and we pick our stories.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt and I was talking about a thing the other day, and she was like how she finds it hard to find the meaning of everything. No, no,
Mm-hmm.
she believes that in the demiurge Gnostic religion, like the philosophy
Mm-hmm.
that teaches where it's like we're trapped on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, well, it's not that that can't be a reality for you, but I was like, but I would challenge this philosophy with, if you are a part of divinity, why would you trap yourself if you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to express yourself from divinity? Like, it's very hard for me to fathom that. And I want you to challenge the question because you can have an answer for me. But I was like, but I want to challenge this with saying, if you were divinity and you were outside of infinity and eternity, you chose to come down because we all go back to source, and from source we go back, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if we were of source and we picked this life, why would you think that there's a lesser God that was made to trap you? Like, you were
Mm-hmm.
beyond, you were the thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you were a part of that. So what reality would you have to craft for yourself to make you feel like you got trapped here and then
Mm.
create that whole reality of another God that trapped you here? It's just like, I feel like you're making it. Like, you're making the world that you believe is real. And it's like no one else can tell you anything different.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing in terms of like the walk and stuff. So that's how, when I even look at like the Buddhist walk and stuff like that, there's something so beautiful in just letting people walk their own path.
Yeah.
And then realizing like, wow, me and my parents didn't have it all right all the time. I would argue that no families have it right at all.
Mm.
But again, what is a good parent other than a mammal? Like, some lions give up their cubs at like 4 months. Like, it's just like a good parent is just a person who never closes the door for you, never
Mm.
closes the door on you. Like, we might not agree. We might not stand each other at Thanksgiving or like we might not be able to be in the same room.
Mm.
If you ever fall on hard times, you know where you can come. Even if it's hey, listen, come to my house, but we ain't speaking. Now, mind you, I have house rules. You at least gonna acknowledge me. But you can have your own room and you can have your own space until things get better because I made you.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a very like I don't know. Sometimes I think about it and I think about how deep it can get. You know
It
what
can get, it goes to, you know, what I think even what you shared in your book, which full transparency, I have not read your book yet,
I
but I know
mean?
you talk
Hey, when it's
about
time, it's on time. So it's meant to
exactly.
serve you. So whenever you feel called to open it, I just hope it does. I hope it does what it's meant to do.
Oh, I know it will. But I know you talk in the books just from our conversations about like everything going back to the beginning, right? And I feel like that's essentially what that journey and that path does. It's like you get to I don't want to say the bottom. You get to the end. You get to the conclusion only to realize, oh, we're
From the
starting again.
beginning,
Right.
yeah.
So I feel like that is a large part
Yeah.
of
And then
that.
some people think it's boring. You know what I mean? Like some people think it's boring. Some people think the way I see it is like, listen, like you get to choose. If you want to be chaos, be chaos. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be chaotic, but just know we all see each other again.
Mhm. Mm.
So if you want to be chaotic, you don't have to be chaotic and evil. There's chaotic good. You can
Mhm.
love to throw parties and no one in the parties get hurt. You know what I mean? But again, just we all meet up again. So
Mm.
it's just a matter of you finding out what makes you happy. Like if
Mhm.
chaotic good makes you happy, if chaotic evil make you happy, if peaceful good. Oh, and what's a dictator? That's a peaceful evil, right? Like there's
Mhm.
people who dictate and you see them marching in line and everything looks pristine and organized, but it's a dictatorship, right? So it's just like there's peaceful good too. I mean,
Mm.
peaceful evil, or what they say. There's a certain word for it because it's like chaotic evil, chaotic good. And then there's something evil and then like pacifist good or whatever the case may be.
Mm.
It's
Okay.
one of those things to where like you get to just walk and choose. And all we
Yeah.
can do as humanity is kind of just go like, yo, if we really wanted to get it together, we could really get it together. Like I feel like we were made perfect in design.
Mm.
There ain't no way me and you go back to freaking 3, 4, 5, 6,000 years ago and go like, man, they had these same concepts back then. Of course they had it back then. We were born with the same knowledge that we always had for real. We just say
Mm.
it in different ways. And we let this whole thing play out. But you pick and choose where you want to come and I don't think you give yourself anything that you can't handle.
Mm.
I don't think you
Whew.
give yourself anything you can't handle. I think that's one of the hardest truths. And I always go back to when I was like homeless.
Mhm.
And I remember me ministering to myself, like it was God in me. But I remember
Mhm.
me saying, like, yo, you're not done. So whatever this thought is, whatever you're thinking, X that. Whatever
Yeah.
you're feeling, X that. It's like when you minister, you hear divinity in you. Which is
Mhm.
like if this was the end of your story, you wouldn't be thinking about it. You would have just did it.
Yes.
So it's like one of those things to where it's like even the thought, even the pause, is you reminding yourself that your story isn't finished. The
Yep.
story you authored from the very beginning of time. You're not done.
Shout out. I had one of them conversations with myself the other day. I was like, okay, if you were really complete in your purpose, you'd be done. You'd be gone. You would not be here.
Yeah,
Therefore,
they
you're
call it
still here.
transitioning. You transition.
Yeah.
You transition
I had
because
yeah. I had
it's
to tell myself
facts.
that the other day. Yeah, 100%. And I think too, and you say this, and I've heard this from other people as well. Um, my initial thought was going to be, you know, so much of us reclaiming who we are, our peace, our purpose, our presence, all of that comes through those really dark and challenging experiences and times. And I know the conversation that you and I have had, and that I've heard from other guides and healers and things as well, is that may be true. And also, what is also true is that we don't. It's like not suffering. I was like, what's the word? Suffering isn't always
Suffering.
required to tap into your power to reclaim your authority. Your inner authority. And I think not only getting myself on board with that truth
Mhm.
and reminding myself of that truth, but then of course then allowing that to ripple out through the collective. And of course, the best way for that to happen is for me to embody it first, right? And to then become an example for those that who are in my reality.
Right.
And we were talking about earlier good and evil and society kind of like putting these um dimmers, if you will, on certain kinds of people who don't operate, who aren't just kind of like checking boxes and just kind of doing what they're told and with their head down and
Yeah.
not really questioning things that don't make sense. you know
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so yeah, so there's that piece, and then there's the piece of, I feel like what you're talking about is like that piece of learning through love and learning from the love within us.
Are we starting now?
Oh, we had already started. What you mean?
I, we didn't even do the official thing.
That's why it's recording, and you.
So 3, 2, 1.
Well,
I have to,
I didn't. You already
welcome
doing
back,
it.
everybody. To
Welcome.
every time we start these episodes, we are cracking up. Welcome back, everyone, to Order of Remembrance. This is episode 2, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Mikle Amani. Yeah, we hope that you guys have had a beautiful 2 weeks. We hope that you feel ready for the weekend, that you are filled and pumped up with everything from possibility to opportunity to blessings to favors. And we
Mm,
are just glad to have you back. And for anyone new joining, we welcome you to the Order of Remembrance, where we are just here helping each other, guide each other, and steer each other to our true calling and our true awareness.
amen. Ashe.
Amen. Ashe. Amen. Ashe.
Tell us
Listen,
what it
listen.
is.
Yeah. Amen. Ashe. Shalom. Raha.
Oh, what is
I
that? What is rahaha?
think it's shalom bruaha, which
Oh,
means something. It's like peace onto something. But
oh.
listen, I'm sure any of the Jewish people will come in and correct me.
Hmm.
Please feel free, But shalom, ashe, amen.
Mm,
Peace be upon you.
yes.
Yeah, and we're just really excited about episode 2. So let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
But we were talking about learning through love instead of suffering.
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
So I think that's very interesting because it's one of those things to where I had I'm proposing a new philosophy. It's not something that I've seen anywhere, but it's something that I want to start redefining, which is suffering in itself, right?
Hmm.
Like, and I think that when we're born or we're made into fortitude, or sorry, say I said fortitude, geez, finitude. When we're born into finitude, there's an innate suffering we have, which is loss. No matter what happens, we have impermanence.
Hmm.
And I think that suffering or that embedded suffering, or how I say it, I should say it more like this, that involuntary suffering, like no matter what we do, we can't stop that from being a thing. I
Hmm.
think that was enough in the system to where voluntary suffering is almost like our gauge of how perfect we are or how perfect we come to be, right? So it's just
Hmm.
like if because we do like war, because we fight each other, because we allow homelessness, we allow it at this point, because we allow homelessness, because we allow wage gaps and a whole bunch of other stuff, wealth division and all this other stuff. It's like we're allowed to gauge how far we are from perfection and just allowing the system to be what it is, which is we all die. We all move on, we all transition. So that suffering is inevitable. It's
Hmm.
something that you can never do. The voluntary suffering, um, is something that I feel like once people start to understand, because again, we have justice, right? We have justice, we have balance, we have all these things that kind of help us fight against all the voluntary suffering that humanity and life gives itself.
Hmm.
But when we finally reach it, I think the reason why like Genesis and stuff really plays to people's hearts, like that was the perfection of humanity, is because there's nothing that Adam and Eve is doing to make each other suffer. Like
Hmm.
everything they're doing is together. Everything that they're walking around the garden and doing is together. Now, I'm not going to get into the fruit and, the knowledge of good and evil. I ain't going all there. But Adam and Eve came down together, or they are together. Sorry, guys, listen, I'm not doing the rip thing. I'm not doing none of that. That's not this talk. But they're together and they're at peace. So we don't know any voluntary suffering. Like Adam and Eve didn't even fight.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have any of that stuff at the beginning. And I think that that's where we know we can be if we just stop all the stuff that we voluntarily do.
Mm.
The suffering that we don't have to bring on each other at all. Because there's already a suffering that we have to help each other through, which is loss. We all have to teach children how to accept what? Death.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much you love something, it's not going to stay because you didn't make that thing. And even if you made that thing, i.e., other human beings, you also know you're going to go too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a suffering that I believe is the only suffering we need in order to be grateful, in order to love, in order to understand, in order to be humble. Because we were born inside of time, space, and with limited divinity, which is my triangle.
Mm-hmm.
So there's divinity, infinity, and eternity, and we're in the middle as a dot. And we're limited infinity, we're limited eternity, and we're limited divinity.
Mm-hmm.
But in that perfection is what? The gratitude is the humility that we chose to come back as finite. And going to your love is under the love part, love is to understand.
Mm-hmm.
There a lot of religions say that, but I think even in that type of understanding, the reason why I brought up the philosophy I'm talking about with suffering is because the more I understand it, is the more I love humanity. The more I
Mm-hmm.
understand, like, oh, like we really just bring suffering on each other. And just like we were talking about with the Buddhists and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
have to allow that. It's really kind of weird. It's like you can speak up against injustice. I'm not arguing that no one doesn't do that. But if people really don't get it, be rest assured that they will. You know what I mean? Like you might be whatever time and place you had to be that person to kind of like stick it to the man or do whatever. But be rest assured that we all come back to where we started. So there is no, oh, well, I died and I didn't get anything done. It's like, no, you got exactly what you needed to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you feel like, uh, even if you feel like we're, like you said, like if you were ready to transition. You really don't think your story didn't continue because you're not here? Of course your story continued. People remember you. You live in people's memories. You live in people's hearts. You know, people loved you. So you even taking or you transitioning off this planet does not end your story.
Mm-hmm.
It just physically, you're not there to manifest or curate it or whatever. But for all you know, you did say, hey, listen, at 75, I'm going to, fall asleep in my bed and I'm not going to wake up and my grandkids are going to be playing in another room or whatever the case may be. And then your grandkids and your kids are the ones who's like, oh, remember when grandma said this? Remember when mom said that? Remember when dad said this? It's an understanding that's so deep that you cannot help but love and know that source isn't love when you remember it. When
Mm.
you know it, it's just like, yeah, you can choose. I think me and you were talking about, I think the last episode, dichotomy. And it's
I
kind of
think
like a line that you see through like yin and yang, right? Like you see
so.
yang, but the line that connects them, it's invisible almost, right? Like it's like they just kind of dance around each other and that's kind of like it. But
Mm-hmm.
imagine if that line was a space and you can
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge that line and be like, well, wait a minute, then there really is no good and evil. Like there really is no, there really is no, I don't know. I think I'm going off. I think I'm going into my own
No,
thing. I'm going into my little
but,
rabbit hole here,
but
but
but now you got to close us out because we're like, who's
no,
you to say next?
no, like I was told from my mentors that the more I understood about life is the more I realized it's not opposites, it's all one thing. And
Mm-hmm.
the more I study, is the more I find that to be true.
Mm-hmm.
It's the more I find that to be true. It's just like, because when you keep understanding, it's so hard to personalize anything. It's so hard
Mm-hmm.
to, like, you ever wonder how, like, I don't know, like how Buddha could get spit on or Jesus could get smacked and they'd be like, yo, don't y'all know who that is? Like, that's Jesus. Like, what you do? Like, but it's like, once you kind of understand him, it's like you don't take anything It's just like, you smacking me is you smacking you. Like, it's just like, so what do I look like? Like, being riled up or angry? Because if you could be that angry,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand myself to be that angry, how would I want myself to treat myself if I was that angry? Well, number one, I would want to ask myself, why are you angry? Why did you slap me? Do you not like me? Like it'd be a conversation. And then we wonder why after Jesus got smacked, I think is the story. After Jesus got smacked, he literally turned his cheek and said, hey, listen, do the other one too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it always end up in a conversation. That's how it always ended up. If someone did a violence thing, it'd be like, okay, you ready to talk now? It's almost like we know that we're angry for something and we're just letting the people kind of come out. And it's just like,
Mhm.
whenever you're done, whenever you're done, we're ready to talk. But the more I started to understand what love is on this planet and what love is for humanity and all living things, is the more I realize it is just understanding. It's who you're
Mm.
willing to lend the understanding to versus who takes wanting to understand away from you. If I'm making
Mm.
any sense there.
Mhm.
Like when someone really hurts you, the last thing you want to hear someone tell you is that, oh, well, try to understand them. It's like, why would I try to understand them?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But then there's
Mhm.
some people who we allow that grace for, right? Like it's like you hurt me so bad, but because I love you, I'm still going to try to understand you. It's just like you even have to look into yourself and say, okay, why for this person and not for that person?
Mhm.
Is it because they were my parents? Is it because that was my best friend? Was that because that was my man or my woman? Was that because that's the parent of my child? Like, why did I let these graces happen? And then what makes anybody in humanity different?
Mm.
Because the family is the ego, right? Like the family is like, oh, well, my blood gets it, but no one else, everyone is everyone's blood. So it's just
Mm.
like, why? You know what I mean? So it's,
Mhm.
and maybe you don't. So I'm not going to keep saying you know what I mean? And people are like, no, I don't understand nothing that you're saying.
Well, well, I would say no if I didn't understand. I wouldn't just be saying yes.
No. I'm talking about to the viewer then. I'm saying,
Oh,
I'm
well,
not
they
going to
can
be
leave
saying,
a
you know what I
comment.
mean? And
Oh,
they were like,
what are you
no, you
talking?
do not
Oh no.
understand.
Well, they'll leave a comment if they don't understand.
Yes, let's leave a comment and I will try to explain it a little better, write it out. But yeah, honestly, that's what I've come to understand. I've come to
Mm.
understand the more you understand about life is the more that you love. True love is true understanding
Mm.
of not just what serves you, but what doesn't.
Mm.
Not only of what heals you, but what hurts you. And we kind of stopped on that part of the episode at episode one when we were talking about the dark and light side of people and the shadow
Yeah.
self of the
Yeah.
person and being in love with both sides, understanding both sides.
Yeah. And having like, I think especially when it comes to like shadow work, which to me I've always viewed shadow work as the capacity to continue to see yourself over and over again,
Hmm.
and being able to love whatever it is that you are seeing, and figuring out how to bring them back into the fold, right? How to bring them back into wholeness. And a lot of times it can look like shedding the immature aspects of that shadow self and getting to like what is the more, we could say, mature, the more wizened version. Like, what is this aspect of me wanting to see with about myself that I have been either neglecting or abandoning or ignoring, and it's kind of like just off in the corner having this tantrum in my life, and kind of looking at it that way. And I think, that takes a level of curiosity and understanding of oneself too, you know,
Absolutely,
to be able to
100%.
sit with that. And I love how Neville Goddard's like the mystic that he taught with, this Ethiopian mystic named Abdullah, and he shared in one of his YouTube teachings that I found online. He shared that like when he first came to start working with this mystic, the first, like, I guess, order of like his first homework assignments, if you will, were to take a look at himself and to observe himself, but without any judgment, and to really get an understanding of who he was being, and the level of consciousness that being was operating under, and just getting to understand why that version of self makes those choices, what experiences have solidified that kind of reasoning, or that kind of compliance, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
And I remember the first time I really heard that, this is like me, I mean, years of doing shadow work, right? At this point. And I remember when I first heard that, and I was like, wow, that is a level of self compassion that I don't know I have truly given myself with and I say that meaning, not to say that I haven't ever given myself compassion, but I feel like it's definitely always come with this desire or this intent
mm,
to fix, to heal. And I think we got to be mindful too of like getting on the healing loop, right? because that will also have you chasing perfection. And I think that's when I really started to come into, you know, yes, it's the work that I do is healing, yes, but at an even deeper level, it's about wholeness. It's about accepting all of yourself and allowing all of yourself to
Yeah.
be in the world. And that does not mean all of your perfect self. You know, that means all of your wholeness. That means the side of you that gets cranky, the side of you that could be a bit judgmental, the side of you that X, Y, and Z, whatever, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But I think
Absolutely.
the real truth in testament is like being able to observe and witness those parts of yourself, and still treating them with the same love and care as your more enlightened and mature and wizened version of self, you know?
Amygdala has channeled the Buddha, ladies and gentlemen. He has channeled the Buddha. But no, I think the Buddhist teachers actually like line up with that. Like
Mm.
either extremity, to stay in either extremity is not good.
Mm-hmm.
It is the understanding of both or meeting in the middle. Like
Right.
like you said, just the capability of knowing. I think that's what religions, several of them have done really well. I don't look at humanity as an imperfect product. I believe
Mm.
we're perfect from the very minute that divinity made us. Like we were
Mm.
made in our perfection. Because one of the first things that every religion I have come across has done is say, hey, listen, you can do these things. You can do all the stuff you want, but we suggest you don't. We suggest you don't do this because this could lead to this could lead to that, this could lead to ruin, this could lead to your destruction. And I have to argue if that was the intent. Without the hierarchy, and we know ego, we're capable of ego. So hierarchy was going to come, patriarchy was going to come, etc. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to say if that was the intent from the very beginning. We're talking like Egyptian cosmology. We're talking
Mm-hmm.
Sumer, Mesopotamia. Like if this is like the very beginnings of humanity, and we're starting to say, okay, we're so much capable, like we're so capable of more things than what we could imagine. Like 30,000 years ago, I don't know if they would have thought they could make rockets. But let's just
Mm.
say some Sumer kid would just like had a vision that one day we would be trying to build rockets. We know our capabilities, and I would argue even as a child, there was nothing you can tell me I could not be.
Mm.
And me and you talk about this off camera, but it's like telling God that it chose to come back as a human, and this is the way that humans behave. You know what I mean? Like you can't if anyone's a parent, they know. And even okay, even if you have like a puppy or something, right? Don't the puppies be thinking they could jump down a flight of steps and you have to go and catch them or something? It's just like, yo, you are a little one. You might think and feel like you could take on the whole world, but you are just this little puppy. And I'm gonna have to put a mirror in front of you for you to understand what you are right now. Because that's how close we are in Inception. We're
Mm.
so close. We remember kind of being there. Like, oh, like you can't tell. I've never seen it. You can't tell a 4-year-old that they can't conquer the world.
Mm.
Not male or female. I have never seen a kid who is not some of the most courageous, brave, creative, outspoken, honest, integral people I have ever known, humans I have ever known. And then you kind of get it back when you're elder and you have the I don't give a F mentality. It's like, man, I don't care about y'all judging me no more. I'm going back to what I was. But
Yes.
you get this sense of divinity, and we we have these capabilities of ourselves to know all these things, but this is what I meant by it's so hard to argue that we were made imperfect,
Mm.
but we were made perfect even in the way we come back to ourselves. And I think
Mm.
that's where it goes into like the shadow work thing and stuff like that you're coming to. Is like, I can't, you know how I am with talking about divinity and source and stuff, but I get very emotional because everything was made perfect in its design and it's something that's unfathomable. Like, we can't, how could something so intelligent and so loving make it so that when it knows I'm going to fight on earth and it knows I'm going to fight to be the better half of myself or learn myself, that it gives
Mm.
me a perfect system to do so? I don't have to look at the evil and goods of the world. I can look at the good and evil within myself
Mm-hmm.
and say, well, if every human is like me and we can all have this battle of good and evil inside of us, then which side will we rather win? Or let's just say it's not a fight. It's a balance, right? Like, hey, listen, I'm peaceful with you, but if I have to defend myself against you, I'm going to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm not going to be around the things that trigger me because that can make me jealous, or that could make me gluttonous, or that could make me envy somebody, or that could make me really lash out at my parents. And they say to honor, that's not a Christian thing. That goes back as far as Egypt and Ethiopia go.
Mm-hmm.
Honoring the people who made you. So it's just like, oh, mom's starting to act up. Let me distance myself because God knows I don't want to start blaspheming her and cursing her and
Mm.
doing a whole bunch of other stuff because that's going to be against me. Because
Mm.
again, one day, if I so choose, if I was a parent, how would I feel if my daughter said that to me or my son said that to me? If you're willing to lend an understanding, then go ahead and curse your parents out, right? Because it's just me. When they come back around, you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I remember I used to do that," and maybe it'll be some type of like, "Aha!" But that's what I
Mm-hmm.
mean by those revelations, right? It's like the source made such a beautiful, coherent. I don't even think our words can describe how perfect it is. And the
Mm.
battle of shadow and light in yourself is exactly what humanity has said from the beginning of time is always a dance. It's
Mm.
always a dance, but it's not imperfection, it's capability. We have the
Mm.
capability, we have the power to
Right.
do both of these things. And you're really just deciding within yourself every day what side you want to what side you want to be today. That's really it. So it's really something that's fascinating. Like you said, it's not about like you said, getting on the healing cycle, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the healing
The
hamster wheel,
healing.
right?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm healing more today. It's like, let's just say
Mm-hmm.
that you created your story and all the triumphs and everything you went through was meant to forge you. That's the word I use now. I don't use suffering, I use forging. Everything was
Mm.
meant to forge you, but you have to choose for it to do that, right? If you decide for it to take you out, it's going to take you out. But let's just say you decide that you are the author and you decide to overcome. Then that lesson that you get from that suffering is really called what I call forging.
Mm-hmm.
So it's meant to sharpen you, right? So let's just say that's the case and you're forging. That's exactly what the shadow self is meant to do. The
Mm-hmm.
shadow self is meant for you to say, wow, I never thought I could get jealous, you know. I never thought I could get this angry. I never
Mm-hmm.
thought I could get this bitter. I never thought I could hold on to people who hurt me. I never thought I could lie. I never thought I could really, really trick somebody. I never thought that people, oh, I kind of like this influence I got a little bit. Like if I just decide, y'all really going to drop down and not study anything I'm saying, y'all just going to take my word for what it is and just kind of keep, hmm,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I think the growth stops and the understanding stops when you stop questioning those things.
Yes.
Once you stop questioning it, you become comfortable and
Yes.
very stagnant. But rather than
Mm-hmm.
going that healing where, like you said, it's wholeness. It's not just you, it's every living thing and non-living thing, by the way. Every living and non-living thing has this dance because like me and you was talking about, right? Just because you don't hear lettuce screaming does not mean that lettuce didn't have aspirations, right? It just means that you can't hear it. And it's just
Yeah.
like it left babies too. Like you think it dreamt to be in your mouth? No. I doubt maybe God would give it like a vision, like, oh, you're going to be someone's salad. But like we don't know. We really don't know. Like, like yeah. Maybe I'm going too metaphysical here, but if every living thing goes through this and every non-living thing is in this balance, this cosmic dance, as you will, then you know that it's something that's not only can be understood, but something that can be understood for the good and growth of you.
Mm.
Or, like I say, is that you're already aligned by design, or let's just go past that. You're perfect in design.
Mm.
That's why I don't agree with the Adam and Eve story. That's why I don't agree with a lot of stuff that says that we were born in sin and no, we were just born
Yeah.
with capability of gods and goddesses. We were
Yes.
born only second to the creator. So how do if we were with the creator, that means we chose to come back, as Genesis says, right? Let's create man in our image. What if God was just talking to himself?
Mm-hmm.
Then he just made his physical representation in a man. They say Jesus later on, but what if Adam was, oh, this is how I would shape myself if I came down like
Mm-hmm.
this, right? Then you're made literally second to that. And all he did was make himself flesh. That's all he did.
Mm.
Same capabilities, same emotions, same dominion, which is why we have responsibility over everything else on the planet. Same everything, but just as a fleshly, blood celly, water in my stomach, heart
Mm-hmm.
pumping being. And it's just like, oh, then you can also figure that, yeah, creator has all this dancing and stuff too. Like it's something that's so beautiful, I think that and that's the only word I can keep coming back to is that it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful
Yeah.
work. It's beautiful work.
I love all that, what you just shared. And it reminded me of a conversation I was having with myself this morning. Um, Early in the episode, or I don't even know if we have started recording yet, but I think I was just telling you how I was just kind of like processing some questions I had of myself.
Hmm.
And I was just finding answers from a passage in a book that I read, from a conversation I heard, from just
You feel
different
like
little
sharing what
things.
questions you were like asking? Like what were you asking and answering? It sounded like you were having like one of those God dialogues with yourself.
Yeah,
It
essentially.
sounds like.
Um, so it stemmed back from a question I asked myself a few weeks ago, and just it was in the sense of like recalibrating my business, and I was just like what is the foundation of my business? Like, and that was just something that was also just feeling emotionally or just internally too, just feeling like, what is my foundation, and how that's kind of rippling out into other aspects of my life. And so the answer that came through for me during that week was realizing that my foundation was more so focused on money, and it needed to be focused. It needed to be built with love, not money. Because Spirit was like, because when money is gone, then does that mean your foundation leaves with it too?
Mm,
So I was like, okay, so we're building with love, and then just figuring out, okay, well, what does that mean for me? What does that look like? And then that sent me on a deeper journey of like my own self-love practices, and then how does that get rippled out into my business, into different creative aspects and things that I'm working on, and just making sure I'm doing things from a place of devotion and love of doing that thing, and love for the impact it can have for other people. So just kind of questioning, okay, what's love? Okay, well, what's my platform? What's my foundation? Da da da. And so this morning, and then I had a session with a client yesterday, and I was just kind of processing some of the things that came up with him. And just, I've been working with a lot of men the past couple of years, which has been really interesting because intellectually they're very enlightened. They're very, they've studied the things, they've meditated, they've been in therapy, like, very progressive, emotionally for men these days.
mhm,
And even still, I've just been noticing, I'm like, okay, this is a bit challenging to me because most of the women that I work with, they're very uh, what's the word, susceptible to the more emotional,
mm,
um kind of ethereal aspect of the work that I do. And it's been interesting tapping into the men and getting them to step out of, and you and I have this conversation all the time, getting them to step out of the logical, out of the analytical, out of the, because they're looking at themselves through these, not through these spiritual concepts,
mhm.
but it's kind of coming with this like analytical
That's the
tilt.
science and spirituality debate right
Yeah.
there in itself, like in its core, for
So
sure.
I'm having them to drop down into their heart. No, 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 no. What do you feel in your body? What does your heart say? Not just, don't just over, give me
Don't just
the,
overthink. Yeah.
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 And so I'm like, okay, this is challenging me in my work because it's my duty to tap into that guard that they have up,
Hmm.
that is built through their intellect and through their analysis, because that's what's gotten them success in business and life and da da da. But now they're coming to this point where that approach doesn't feel aligned for them, even if it, or maybe it's just not working for them anymore, right? And so I'm thinking, okay, how do I pivot? What's my entry point with this client to really support them through however long we're meant to be working together. So I'm just thinking about this. I'm like, okay, how can I get him to drop more into his heart? Da 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 da. And I just started looking at my own relationship to how I move through the world, and how I can get really in my head and very analytical as well, and get very mental and plan things out and be so strategic. And I'll spend hours and days planning, and I love that stuff. But then it's like, okay, when it goes to embodying the plan, I kind of see where you didn't talk to the heart at all through none of this, because that's why you keep
You
getting stuck,
didn't counsel the heart.
And so I was looking at, okay, well, how can we, all the insight and knowledge and wisdom that I've acquired over the years through spiritual studies, through entrepreneurship studies, through, personal development, just listening to personal growth, listening to people's stories and what they've learned and all of that. And I'm like, what do I know about the mind? I'm like, the mind is best used in imagination, in creating ideas, ideation, things like that. It's not the best when it comes to reasoning, although people think it is. It's not the best when it comes to reasoning, because you can talk yourself into and out of a whole lot of things, right? But when
Mhm.
you tap into the heart space and you listen to what your heart is actually wanting, or what your body, the sensations that are coming up in your body when you're deciding, making decisions on these different things, or choosing these different avenues and pathways, bless you,
Thank you.
what's showing up in your body. And that is what I am I feel like I'm being tasked to help people reconnect to. And of course, through my own, first and foremost, my own self study and things. So that way I can better articulate and share these medicines and these experiences, or these exercises, in my client work. And so I was like, we got to think more with the heart. We have to learn how to think with the heart. And I've done a lot of studies too around just like anatomically, like how powerful the heart is. Its electromagnetic field is like 60 times stronger than the brain. So it literally it has its own force field,
Yes.
and energetic like signature and all of that. Just from an anatomical, like just from like the science book, like this is not theory. This is like factual, actual, you
Yeah,
know?
science will back you for sure.
And
Hmm.
then you think about that from like an esoteric perspective. Well, if my physical heart has that much power and control, and I'm not utilizing it well because I'm so focused on my mind, it's like how much information am I missing truly because I'm only been taught and skilled at relying on my mental capacity
Yeah.
instead of my emotional capacity. And you talk about us stepping into this emotional era, which I love that, and I obviously align with that so much and so deeply because that is what we're stepping into. We are, we are beyond intellect and analysis. Like our information has information at this point. Like we are
It's so
inundated,
true. It's so true. It's an
and now
overabundance of it, actually. So,
overabundance.
yeah.
And now we're having to learn, how do I decipher and discern this from AI?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I know you didn't read the book and stuff, but can I just say, Mick, like you're always my confirmation that there's universes in people because you are
Hmm.
a whole universe. Like even like listening to you, I was just in awe of it. Like,
Oh,
wow,
thank
like we
you.
really are, yeah, we're really the universe inside of people. Like
Mm,
we're just in cap, but even like the way that you were questioning and answering and figuring it out, and like it's like you question and you guide, you question and you
mm,
guide, you question and you guide. It speaks volumes to the mastery and the time you're
mm,
giving yourself to really figure this stuff out. Like heart and mind is something that's really that I'm glad that they're starting to balance out now. But we've, again, like you said, we've had these dichotomies forever. Like,
hmm.
but people always think the dichotomy means fight, and it doesn't. It means
Yes,
it's a dance.
yes,
It's a dancing and acceptance
yes.
because spirituality and science shouldn't be fighting. Spirituality, I call the older sister, and science is the younger brother, basically saying, well,
Hmm.
sis, guess what I just found out? I found out what you said was true, but this is how I found it out. And it's like, oh, that's amazing. I'm glad that you found out that way. So now go and tell everyone else how to figure out, how to find out what I'm saying is true. And
Mm,
that's the same thing with what you were saying with, not with heart and mind, but it's amazing that you came up to the mind not having the reasoning because the judicial system does that, right? You
hmm,
have the charge, but you also have the degree of the charge. And the degree of the charge is the intent. So the intent is fed from the heart because the mind is just the capability to do the crime. Like, oh, I called the person, I structured this. Like, let's just say it's like a robbery, right? Like, okay, I
hmm,
got the people together, I got them to make the hit, I got them to do whatever. That's the mind organizing, planning, structuring, whatever. But
hmm,
then they say, well, what was your intent? Was it pre-med? Like, did you think about this before? Did you feel angst toward this person? Why this person? Did you, oh, come to find out you and that person had history. So you're holding on to some feeling that made you want to
hmm,
rob this person. So the fact that you came to that in your own way, which is what the Buddha said, in your own way, Taoism, in your own flow, you didn't come
mm,
from the judicial system, but even the judicial system we have is like, okay, there's the ability to commit the crime and then the intent behind the crime. And the intent is the passion. Like, oh, did you just do it because let's just say that you knew you were going to rob somebody, but you didn't care who. So they'll
hmm,
say, well, you're not really malintended, right? Like it's just like, oh, whoever walked across your path was going to get it today. But
hmm.
you still did something in your mind. You still had the ability to do something in your mind that caused harm to someone else. So you at least have that organization there. But
Right,
maybe in a heart, you weren't as passionate. It's just like, oh, I need money. I'm broke. I'm poor. Or I need money. I need to go buy this watch, whatever the case may be. And you committed the crime. That is how judicial people see it. So like this
hmm,
dance of mind and heart has always been happening. But
hmm.
this is where I think me and you come in with the transition to the emotional era because it's not a fight. It's never been
Yeah,
a fight. It's always been these two sides coexist, and how do we have them move in harmony? It's the harmony and the synchronicity, not the
yeah,
battle. Your heart and your mind should not be battling each other. That's what we call alignment, right?
Yep.
The eightfold path is everything in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, can you imagine if all eight parts of yourself was fighting within your body? Like, like boxing each other. Like it'd be like, wait a minute, why my gut is saying something? My throat, my gut, like it's saying my head, my heart, like
Mm-hmm.
your solar plexus, like all
Yep.
that would be in such disarray.
Yep.
We come to find, oh, it's acknowledging that we're parts, but then having those parts come to one
Mm-hmm.
and come to that acknowledgement of each other and the alignment with each other. So just again, that's what I meant by there's such a universe in you. And I'm always interested in hearing how you come to these dances because you're saying exactly what I'm saying, and I'm saying exactly what you're saying, but we found different paths to get there. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
allowing people to walk those paths we get to the same answers. We all do. We just go in the way that gets us there. So the
Why is that so scary for people, for the world at large? And I,
because
you know what it
sometimes
is?
it takes people down a path of hurt, and sometimes it takes people down a path of hurting others.
Mm.
That's why. Because again, we have the capability of great healing, as we would say, and great harm,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm. I
Healing
was
would
actually
never
going to say,
hurt.
wait, he said healing, but what?
Healing doesn't hurt.
Healing doesn't hurt.
Yeah, healed people don't hurt people, but
Mm-hmm.
hurt people could definitely hurt healed people. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it's a fear that we have that's innate, but it also helped us understand, oh, maybe we shouldn't have this because none of us like
Mm-hmm.
it. None
Yeah.
of us like to feel betrayed. None of us like to feel backstabbed. None of us like to feel lied to. So that fear of knowing other humans do it, it's like, why not just get rid of it? That's why I said you'll find the threats throughout all religions. None of them back lying. None of them back
Mm-hmm.
bearing false witness. You are not to lie on anyone. You're not to be jealous of anyone, not because you can't. You can be jealous, but we're saying how that's going to destroy you in the long run. It's not going to do anything good for you or the person you're being jealous of. So people see that as like a challenge. Like you said, it's not like, oh, you're just trying to get me to acknowledge it. No, we see it as you're telling me what I can't do. No, you can do it. That's why I'm telling you, you should not. Like, it's like, I know you can. Trust me, I know you can, but I'm suggesting that you don't. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where people ego come in, or like you said, the brain. We're in such a we just left such a I call it the logical intelligence era, right? Where
Yeah.
everyone's egos was inflamed. Everyone was battling this egocentric, well, I'm me and I'm focusing on myself and this and the third. I was like, but you live with people. Like you could only be selfish for
Mm-hmm.
so long. You only be cooped up in your house for so long. You can only talk. I mean, yeah, you by yourself, but you're watching other people on YouTube. You're not alone there.
Mm-hmm.
If you was alone, how you get YouTube? Like, other people had to come on YouTube and share themselves. Like, so it's just it's we left such a egotistical era. And that's where we come into the shift because we always knew that we learned or remembered that there was a balance.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
a balance between the two. And like you said, with the heart and the listen, people have been emotionally deprived, especially in the education of the heart for a long time. And to me, my theory is because we've been in patriarchy for a long time. So the two houses that mattered the most was how strong you are and how smart you are. Those are the two
Mm-hmm.
things that mattered the most in society. No one cared how heartfelt and how
Or
loving you were
empathetic.
or
Right.
empathetic you were, right? Because they
Mm-hmm.
weaponized empathy against women for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then no one cared how spiritually in tune you were. That's why that walk of peace is doing a whole bunch of stuff because it's like
Yeah.
when you are spiritually in tune, you act it. There
Yeah.
is really no more talking. I mean, me and you love talking with each other, which is why we started a podcast, but you'd be surprised if you met us on the street. It'd be like, oh, there's a hi, there's a how are you, there's a discussion,
Right.
there's a oh, like, are you okay? Like, are you
Right.
okay? Like, are you sure you're all right? Do you need anything? You start to become that person because you know what it. You don't need to talk to Fluffy. You don't need anyone to validate you,
Yeah.
and that's
And
exactly what
there's,
monks are doing.
yeah, and I was gonna say, and I feel like there's a level of depth too.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think, just even using the example that you brought up with the Buddhist walk, I think it's also very confronting for people because it's so simple and yet it's getting so much um
publicity.
attention, for
Yeah,
lack of
yeah,
publicity, for lack of a better word.
for sure.
But it's also showcasing autonomy and accountability. And it is, I always joke and not joke, saying like I'm a subtle activist. You know what I mean? Like my activism comes through the subtle realm. It comes through being connected and empowering people of their own personal power and
Yeah.
connecting back to source, and and all of those things, and our ability to create our reality and design our reality, all of that. So for me, it doesn't look like marching and being on the front line. Doesn't mean that I won't ever do that, but that's not my innate response. Whereas some people, that's their like, that's what I got to go
That's
do.
their first
And I
thing.
love that. And I like, you know what I mean? Like we all have our lane and our role to play. And so I feel like for the people who are feeling so confronted, and so, like how are you going to sit and tell someone walking for peace? How are you blocking that? Like, what? That doesn't even make sense to me.
Because
We
it's
don't need to be in the same religion. What does that matter?
because some people, again, and this is what I meant by the more you understand humans is the more you realize that I don't know. I haven't completely got to this yet, but I'm really trying to get my thesis down to the love I'm hearing downstairs, and that everything was love. Because if
Mm,
everything was made from love, that means everything is. And I'm
mm,
trying to kind of, that's where my thesis and my philosophies go now, is trying to prove that. But
mm-hmm,
um, it would be the same thing with that, because the people who confront the Buddhists, they really do believe that they're loving them into their truth, and they really believe that they're walking into like hellfire. Like
mm-hmm,
they really, again, yes, you can argue that maybe some of them are paid or something like that, but let's just take the pure one, like you said, who's walking in, who's just like, no, Jesus Christ is king and this is demonic, or no, Muhammad, and we need to make sure that these people, like, I didn't see any Muslims there, but there's not saying that there wasn't any. But the same thing if an imam came up and was just like,
mm-hmm,
no, we're not going to do that. Thank God we're in America. But I don't know what the Buddhist walk would look like in like Saudi Arabia. Like I have no idea.
mm-hmm,
But they're here. We're majority Christian here, and there's a lot of people who really feel strongly that Jesus Christ is the only way. So when
mm-hmm,
they go up to these Buddhists, they really don't think that they're disturbing a peace. They really feel like they're loving them back to God. That if they don't do this
mm,
thing, they are going to be burning and torturing in some hellfire forevermore. And they're passionate about it. And that's what I meant by I haven't got this down yet. But if let's just say that person, right, the Christian, to really walk, you can't argue that's not love on their side. Because they would say it
mm,
is. They would say, like,
mm-hmm,
no, it is my duty to make sure that these people do not damn themselves for all eternity. But like you said, everyone's saying walk for peace. So I think where the emotional error kind of comes in, and the reason why women kind of bring it back, because guess who was defending the monks against those people stopping it? You heard a lot of female voices going like, if you don't get out
mm.
the way, you heard a lot of us out there for it. We always allow us, but we're like, you be making a fool of yourself. You don't get the heck out of here. But I think it was a woman recording it actually, which was very,
Mm,
but we we have, I think we're coming to like this synchronicity of you can love someone like that, but how did you get to where you were? Is it because someone loved you like that? And very
mm,
often it's not. Like the way that people go and say you're gonna be damned in this and the third is not the way they fell into Christianity. They were born into.
mm-mm,
So it's like if you was born into Christianity, your mom wasn't telling you at 2, what the hell you doing? Da, 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 da. Like you gonna get.
mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, there was some Christians that ended up like that, and most of them converted out because of how they were treated by their parents, because their parents
Right.
were the first examples of Christianity. So they were just like, oh no, if you're gonna keep damning me and telling me I can't go out and telling me I have to have curfew, this and that, I'm gonna leave. But again, can we say that that was not love from the parents if they were told that same story, that if they don't get their kids to not to abolish hell and abolish sin, that they're going to end up in all eternity with the devil? We can't.
Mm,
It's very hard to argue that. So in the love part, the only thing I would say in terms of like if Christians want to step in the way, like you said, of the walk of peace, it's like if you were walking for peace, would you want a Buddhist to come up to you and say that?
mm-hmm,
And if and I mean with all the same intent, the same, hey, listen, you guys are no, how y'all are tricking people, and Jesus Christ is not the way, and y'all talking about heaven and hell, but heaven and hell do not exist. It's all about you. If you want a Buddhist to come up to you and talk like that, then you can do what you're doing.
mm,
But most of the time it's not that. Most of the time people are giving out things and it's just like, you don't like love like that, so stop.
mm,
You don't like love like that. You don't like love that's sitting here and telling you you have to do this and you have to do that. Because when we really love each other, we don't want that. We want you to
Mm-hmm.
figure it out however you're going to figure it out. That's why I'm a perennialist. Because I'm just like, hey, listen, we all end up I don't care what people believe in. We all end up at the same place. I don't care if you believe in Yeshaya, Shorashaya, Buddha, Krishna, Jesus, Muhammad, no prophet to come. I don't care what you believe in. We all came and we all go back.
Mm-hmm.
So what that gives me a piece of is that you can walk however you want.
Mm.
Just don't deny me and I won't deny you.
Mm.
That's it.
That acceptance.
Acceptance, allowance, unity, the law of unity that we talk about, knowing that
Mm-hmm.
we're all one. That's the only thing I would challenge that Christian with, because I could never challenge his love or her love for stopping the Buddhists. They really do believe that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so my only challenge would be to you is if you were walking on a walk of peace through Florida all the way up to freaking Maine or wherever they're gonna end, would you want someone getting in your way and saying that you're gonna be damned to hell because you're tricking people and you're tricking the world? A lot of them say yes, but you never see them in that position to be told.
Mm-hmm.
You never see them in that position to be confronted with themselves like that. They'll say yes, but I'm like, but I'm never gonna see y'all walk in y'all life. Y'all never gonna do this. I'm never gonna see y'all orchestrate a whole walk through a country.
That's why I feel like it's confronting.
Yeah, but
That's
it's
why I
it's
feel like
hard
it's
to argue the
confronting.
intent of it. That's why we allow in this country protests and people to have freedom of speech because how can you argue that that Christian didn't love that Buddhist? You really can't.
Mm-hmm.
They're just loving from their lens. And all we're doing, seeing kind of both sides and kind of having that the beauty to see both sides. But the Buddhist handled it very well. He was like, hey, listen, I just want to walk my way. You walk your way. We're not even talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, but if I love you, then I have to tell you. Like I have to, it's on my heart to tell you. I'm convicted to tell you. And the Buddha's just like, hey, listen, I understand you. The Buddha's like, I understand you. Trust me. He was like, and I love you. And then both the Christian and Buddha, you know what they say at the end? I love you.
What?
I love you too. Then that's where we
Oh.
stop there. But the Christian kept going on like, I love you, and that's why you're gonna go to hell if you don't. And he's like, no, I love you. I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna keep walking, but I love you too. If love is love and love is light, we're gonna keep walking together. But
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard to argue that. That's why we allow freedom of speech. That's why we allow the dialogue. Because if it can come down to love at the end of the day, then I just challenge what your love looks like to you. Does your
Mm-hmm.
love accept this? Does it allow this? And if it doesn't, then you can shift. You can
Mm.
learn in that too. No, I wouldn't want anyone stopping me if I felt like I was protesting peace in the middle of chaos and division and all that other type of stuff. So then
Or
no,
telling me that I'm going to hell. How you know that?
which
You
I,
gonna be there?
well, the other Christians in the crowd you could hear and say, hey, listen, you don't have the right to judge nobody. And
Hmm.
these are other Christians saying, like, no, you cannot do that. You cannot judge. God is the judge, jury, and executioner, not you. So, but again, that's how he was brought up. I don't know the man, but it doesn't, how you say, it doesn't do me any favors or we don't do
Mm-hmm.
each other justice if we sit here and go like, oh, well, he's hating on him. No,
Mm.
that type of passion, you'd be surprised. Like that type of passion really does come from a very, like we say, emotional space, a heart-filled
Mm-hmm.
center. But it can, like you said, it can need education. It could need evolution. It could need
Yeah.
learning to be like, oh, maybe I acted too fast. Maybe I
Mm.
acted too rash. Maybe I didn't really consider how I would want to be treated in that. And that's how we discipline the heart space. And that's how we grow in the
Mm.
heart space is not just how you feel, but how you would feel if you made someone else feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the evolution of that. And now triple that, keep going, right? Because that's just two people. How I would feel, how I make someone else feel if I was to feel that way. Now, how
Mm-hmm.
would I feel if that person took that feeling and went and then made someone else feel like that? It trickles, like you said, 60 times over into our aura, what I believe is our aura.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's such a good reminder to like think in those terms. And I know in the heat of things or in the moment of things, you can forget,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
This is why we
100%.
study remembering and reminders and all the
Mhm.
things. Um,
Like you do beautifully with meditation and stuff, but the grounding practices and being able to come back
yeah.
to, things are gonna rattle your frequency every now and again, but you got to
Mm-hmm.
know that you're in control of your frequency.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. One of so the book that I'm reading is Woman Who Run with the Wolves. And the passage
Yes.
that
Yeah.
I've been revisiting is one about the red shoes. And so she goes into, I don't know if you ever read this book, but she breaks down like she'll share a story and then she breaks down how it relates to women. And so the whole book is around um, what's the word, like reactivating the wild woman within
Mm,
women. So reclaiming your intuition, reclaiming your subtle gifts and all of that.
nice.
And and or where was I going with that? Oh, so she one of the traps that she talks about within this particular passage. She was sharing how important it is to remember our certain traps or weaknesses, if you will, and where we get trapped, where we get caught, where we get hooked.
Yeah.
Remembering how they're laid, what they look like, what they feel like, so that way we know how to navigate around them or
Yeah.
even through them if we end up getting hooked
Mhm.
or through them. And so I loved rereading that this morning because it's such a study of the self, and we can tie it back into shadow work and all of that, but being able to know, okay, I know, let's say you brought up the energy of jealousy. Okay, I know I typically get jealous around this kind of thing when this person comes around or X, Y, and Z, but you're looking at that and you're analyzing it in a way that, again, not judgmental, but understanding, okay, I know that can be a potential trap for me. So how do I want to maneuver so that way her whole thing was like to remain free, so not to get trapped, but
Yes.
to
Yeah.
remain free.
Love that.
And a lot of that is, we think about freedom as like a physical freedom,
Hmm.
but really like where we are in this day and age, what I feel that how I'm supporting the collective is helping people to get emotionally free, right? And so that way you aren't giving away your power to jealousy or to anger or to any of those things unconsciously. It doesn't mean that
Yeah.
like you said, we're human beings. We're going to navigate through these experiences just for our own lesson in medicine making, but then being able to have that space between that experience. So like you said earlier, we're not making it so personal, and then we're getting kind of like the other trap that she mentioned in this story, was like depression. You kind of, the energy
Yeah.
goes inwards, it gets inverted, and then all of the analysis is on the self,
Yeah.
which is creating a
Which is a
depressive
lack of
experience.
balance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so it was really interesting. And I bring that up because it reminds me so much of just knowing yourself, and then like what are the practices of your remembering. So like even this morning I like kind of had a moment where I was like, who are you, 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 because I could feel myself. And this the past couple of days just coming out of like, oh, well, not accidentally, because like you said, everything's by design. We step back into that old reality that we were evolving out of, that we're growing ourselves out of. And this
Mhm.
is what that looked like. So I was just reflecting on like, dang, like this morning I'm reflecting, I'm like, dang, I was going to send these emails and do that and send this pitch out and da da da. I was like, what happened? And my spirit was like, you forgot. I was like, I did forget. I got inundated with like bills and this and how am I going to do that, and how all these other things came into the piece. And I was like, I did forget completely. I look back at the weekend, I'm like, damn, I could have been doing this and this in addition to, but I forgot. I allowed myself to be overcome with, and so I think it was really interesting just reflecting back on just knowing thyself, right? And really getting an understanding of self and the shadow self, and where we can get hooked and trapped, and how to love ourselves through and out of those experiences. Because it can feel really like um it can feel really not demoralizing, that's not the right word. What is
Demotivating.
it?
Mm.
Demotivating.
Mm.
You're kind of going through this loop over and over again. You're like, okay, how did I get here again? How am I navigating this again? And I recently watched an interview with Ian Van Zant, and she
Mm.
said something that was like, it was such a beautiful. I haven't watched one of her interviews in a very long time. Like, oh my
Same,
gosh, so
likewise.
long.
Likewise.
And
I
so
have
I
to
was
tap
like,
into
dang.
what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I was seeing the video and I was like, dang, I forgot. Yeah, she dropping these gems, but it was just so gentle and so subtle and so, um, and she was like, a lot of y'all be acting like, no, she said two things that I really took away with. The first thing, she was like, you got to have more faith in yourself. She was like, you have got to have more faith in yourself. She was like, a lot of y'all's problem is you don't believe that you can move through these experiences that you're navigating. And the second thing that she brought up that I found really nourishing was like, and y'all be forgetting. She was like, don't be acting like you ain't never been broken up with before. Don't be acting like you ain't never did this before. This hasn't ever happened to you before. Like, you got through it once. You're going to like figure out how you can get through it again. And I was just like, you are so right. Like, we forget. We allow ourselves to forget. I've already been through this 3 times, and I know this may be a fourth time, but I know I can get out of this. So what are
Absolutely.
we doing to get out of this? And just kind
Absolutely.
of taking our power back.
Absolutely. And that's the again, that's the power of what they call like spiral or cycling. Like I've been reading this book
Mm.
that was called, I think it's called The Power of the Pyramid or The Pyramid of Self or
Ooh.
something. But I was gonna send it to
Okay.
you. It's on YouTube. I was listening to the audiobook, but they basically break down the pyramid into the tip, which is spirit, and then they do the four things
Oh
of.
my God. No, send that to me. I literally had that visual in my head.
Did you? Oh yeah,
It
girl. I
might have
could
been this
think.
morning. I
Listen,
swear to
I'll
you,
send it to you
that might have
while
been
we
this
talking.
morning.
But
That's so wild.
it's something that was really incredible. I got maybe three-fourths of the way through until I had to call someone that was on my spirit just to tell them I love them. So I kind of like stopped
Oh.
there. But it it has this spirit at the tip, earth, fire, air, and water as the
Mm.
cycles. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's kind of funny because I call it, and that's another magic number too. I don't know why we break it into
Mm-hmm.
4 or 4, 8, 12. I don't know why we do
It's a
that.
very foundational number too.
Yes, it's a
It's
very foundational number.
symbolic.
So I do the four eras, the intelligence eras, so physical, mental, emotional, spiritual,
Mm.
and we know the four elements to be that way: earth, fire,
Yeah.
wind, water, and then spirit being the tip. So
Mm-hmm.
they say that you cycle through those things, and I think where Ayana's advice comes in the strongest, at least for me, because I was resonating with your story, is that you cycle until you no longer need to remember. You cycle
Mm.
until it's embodied.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like if you like I did this test for myself when I was really young, right? Like I basically have a mark on my body. It's like a little dot I have here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. To this day, I don't know if it could be a blood clot. I don't know what it is. But I used to play this trick on people where it's like I would hold it and it would disappear, and then when I let go, it'd come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did this test where it's just like I should know myself like this. Like I don't think
Mm.
twice when I show people this thing. Like let me see if I can see it. I don't know if you can see it on camera. It's that little
Oh
dot.
yeah, I see a little bit. Yeah.
So if I hold it and we're talking about something or this and the third, how was the day? It was great. We get ready for the storm, whatever. It
Mm-hmm.
disappears and
Mm-hmm.
then it comes back.
Interesting.
And I used to show, it was such a quirky uniqueness to me that I used to just think it was really cool about myself, right? So I used to be like, oh yeah, look at this trick I could do. And I would go around to all my friends in middle school and tell them this
Oh.
trick. And when I started to study myself more, I was saying that I don't even think twice when I show people this. Like I wake up expecting this to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why isn't all of me like that? And all of me is not like that because again, anything I'm cycling through is something I have yet to learn. So,
Mm.
but we don't give to Ayana's point, Ayanla, because it's
Mm-hmm.
weird, like,
Ayala.
but Ayana Vazant's point is that we don't give each other or ourselves enough grace to cycle through. That's why
Mm.
the whole no judgment thing is something so powerful because you're going to allow yourself to go through as many cycles as you need in order to get it. But we are not to judge you because some people will get it in two, some people will get it in 22, some people will get it in 222, but we all get it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the only thing we can do is give the time and the faith that you will get it one day. Like we will all get it one day. But if some people have to cycle through it 389 times for them to get it, yeah, girl, I don't know why I keep dating the same old man. Because you ain't get it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm here for you whenever you start crashing out, and I'm here for you whenever. Listen, just don't do anything crazy. But I'm here till you figure it out for real. And there's no judgment behind it. It's just you
Mm-hmm.
have to literally just keep cycling through and be grateful for the people who stand with you. Because again, how many times we go through the same cycle and we get annoyed with ourselves? It's like you don't think the people around you annoyed too? But it's like, but if we love you, you never gonna know. Like you never gonna know. We had this
Mm-hmm.
conversation 8 other times. We had this conversation so many times, but I love you. So every conversation you bring to me, I'm not gonna be like, this girl was just talking to me about this like 3 days ago, the same exact thing, the same thing over. Yeah, girl, tell me about it. Like it's brand new. I'm brand new with you. Yeah, girl, tell me about. Oh man, this happened again. Because that's what love is. It's like I don't care how many times you have to go through it. I'm here with you, and we
Mm-hmm.
don't have that grace. I think we're starting to extend it more now
Yeah.
to a point, but extending it to yourself is the most important thing because then you'll extend it to others. So the
Yep.
minute you extend it to yourself to say, hey, listen, like you said something about fourth cycle, right? Yeah, go through the cycles, Mick, but allow yourself to go through these cycles until you get it. Because it
Mm-hmm.
will become just like this mark to where it's like, oh, I don't even have to go through this test again because I know what it is. And that's the inner gnosis. That's what they call gnosis. It's when you know it
Mm.
so, you embody it so much that you don't even think about it. It's something that just comes. Or
Mm-hmm.
it's something that you already, you know is there. So you don't have to sit here and test it anymore. You don't have to doubt it anymore. You don't have to fear it or be anxious about it. You know it's here. The same way, like I told you, until I pass away, I know this doc gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
No one can tell me what it is. Not a doctor, not a friend, not anyone. They're like, what is this? I was like, I don't know. I just know it's always been here my whole life, and that's it. But I wake up knowing it's there. To where, look, you know, it's the last time I looked at this mark? Maybe in a couple years.
Oh wow.
And I'm saying it on the camera, like, didn't you see me pull out my sleeve? That it would have been so crazy if I
It was
pulled
the
out.
wrong place.
Like, it was a mark that used to be a
You're
mark.
like, wait,
Like, it was right
I know it's over here somewhere.
But it would be like, yo, this girl going crazy on the podcast. Like, no, it used to be right here. I'm telling you. Let me go get a picture of when I was younger. But the same way I was able to say that in such a confidence, that's the grace and the cycles. You know how I built this confidence? By doing that trick for years. That's how I knew. Because I didn't think it would stay with me forever. I thought, I get older, my skin would change. There's a mole on my hand that's starting to disappear. So even moles don't stay. So I'm sitting here going like, oh, there's some marks on my body that go away.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm just like, this one though, let me see if it will. So let me push it, let me play with it, let me see if I can get it to go away. A doctor give me some medicine, some ointment, something to make it go away. And no matter what I did, it stayed. So the confidence comes with what? The test. Comes with the
Mm-hmm.
cycles, but allow yourself the grace to test yourself. Allow yourself the grace to test the theories. The only thing you have to wonder is if you're testing your theories hurting other people versus
Mm.
if you're being tested by you just experiencing pain, which I think
Mm-hmm.
there's a better way to test, if anything. It's way better, I think, to receive the pain than to give it.
Mm.
If we're talking about karma and all that other type of stuff, it's like that, I would never suggest that people learn their lesson by giving pain onto others because you don't know how that pain is going to come back to you. But
Mm-hmm.
if you receive pain, then you can alchemize it because you have the
Yes.
energy. So you
Yes.
can sit here and say, okay, am I going to give it back 10 times more, or am I going to alchemize it and turn it into love and
Yeah.
compassion and healing? And so one thing puts you in a position of power, and one of them makes you subjected to power.
Yes.
So yeah, but I think, yeah, just giving yourself the grace, you know what I mean? And allowing it for other people too. Like when you see people, me and you know I'm good for this, but I always say, "Look,
Mm-hmm.
give yourself some grace." Because I heard church people saying that my whole life, and as I got
Yeah.
older, I was like, man, that's such a great saying. You know what I mean? Like give yourself grace, give yourself compassion, because it's okay to test. And it's okay to test until you know it's true.
Mm.
It's okay. It is perfectly okay. So when you find yourself in these loops and this and the third, it's like because you're trying to remind yourself of something that you're missing. And that's that helix, right? That's the infinity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, you keep doing this roundabout, but you go higher every time you do this. It's like you go higher and
Mm.
higher, like the DNA,
You
what
had a double
the double
helix.
helix, the double
Mm-hmm.
helix. Yeah, it's a spiral all the time, but it goes up. So it's the same way with that. It's like, or what you said, the Eightfold Path. As you start to go and transcend and you start to figure out one test after another, you suddenly end up at your crown.
Mm-hmm.
And your crown is, I don't know, you can tell me, but I know it's one of the most difficult ones to unblock or whatever the case may be.
Well, it's just hitting that transcendence of
Yeah.
detachment, you know, detachment, but still being present in the world,
Yeah.
So typically that's why they tell you to start at the root first. So that's your grounding. That's what keeps you here on earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or at least in your physical vessel, so that you can travel upwards. You have something anchoring you, because as you're moving through these different aspects of self, they're bringing up shadow elements as well. That's what I think that's why shadow work is so important when you're healing on your healing journey, because that's what it's kicking up, all these things that you've allowed to go dormant and buried underneath. And in the healing process, like you said, you're spiraling upwards, you're going upwards, and you're opening up all the blessings, all the beautiful things, and then all the lessons as well. So yeah, so that way when you get into the crown, you're embodied in the crown and you're not using it. Those of us who are like more spiritually inclined, or just like very intuitive or very heady, we tend to live in the mind and live in the kind of crown area. So if you're very visual or very visionary oriented person who can tap into the future and do all those things, then your work is going to be grounding and bringing the downloads and the insight through the body and into the earth. where it could also go the opposite, where there are some people who are just very healthy and present on the earth, and the more spiritual, kind of aspects are just like they're just not. It's not reaching them yet. So yeah, I can. So the crown. All that to say, the crown can be a trickier substance if you're not willing to go through the lower realms
in order
to
to
really to
understand it.
truly unlock it and understand it, like you were saying earlier, just that
Yeah.
the understanding piece. And then because when you get to the crown, we're talking about good and evil, we're talking about love, we're talking about hate, or the quote unquote the opposite of love, which
Mhm.
can be argued. But the whole thing of enlightenment and transcendence is to be able to hold both realities. It's not to be like, okay, well, I've gotten to enlightenment, like piss off all you like other lower things. It's
It's
like
to be
that's not.
grateful for your dark, yeah. Because your
Hmm.
dark made you come to light.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Like
that's how
there's
we get to know the light too. It's through the darkness. That's how you are able to better see the light. I remember last fall, I was really going through it. And I was a part of this like beautiful group space of other entrepreneurs and stuff. And I just got like this real deep awakening and aha moment, and just seeing myself more clearly of like how I was using my light as this, excuse me, as this um I'll say like kind of like with this like self-righteous kind of a lens. And what I learned through that experience is like the light can be just as blinding as the dark can be,
yeah,
blinding, if
absolutely.
you will, as
100.
well. So we have to be mindful of these higher elements
That's
that
a
we're learning and that
beautiful
we're
way to say
tapping
that.
into. Yeah. And
Yeah.
because it's
Most
like you can be
people
blinded by your own light. Oh, but I'm here to do good and I'm here to do this and my purpose, but my meaning and my this and my that. And
yeah.
it's like, yeah, we see you, we understand that. And also, too, you
Yeah,
know,
right.
like you still gonna catch these lessons. So
Mhm. Like there's no
I had to
adjustment
like,
to it. Like it's like
yeah.
a blinding light. Like it could definitely be like,
Hmm.
wow, give me time to adjust first. The same way,
Yes.
like if you go into complete darkness, like your eyes have to adjust. Because science talks about that too, which I find again,
Hmm.
I love the bridge between science and spirituality. Because what you're saying is defined in science, right? Like black
Hmm.
is the absorption of every color. The
Hmm.
absence of all color is light, and both of them are two extremes of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Darkness is voidless. It's formless. It's eternal.
Hmm.
You don't ever know the boundaries of darkness. It goes so far. But it's the same
Yeah.
thing with light too. It's
Yeah.
formless. It's boundless. And then everything else that exists is in the middle.
Yeah. And that's what, this, I love that we brought that we, it landed on this, because that's when I was, I mentioned earlier when I was looking at thinking more from the heart space, from the mind. And
Mhm.
that's the visual that I saw. I was like, the mind allows you to take something apart so that you see it in its two essences, right?
Mhm.
But the heart allows you to put all the color and all the nuance in between.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, it's not to say that we're just here to, the mind isn't important. No, it's very important. It's just as important, but it's like, how are you utilizing it, right? Like, are you utilizing, you said it earlier, are you utilizing it in a way that is empowering you, or are you utilizing it in a way that is subjecting you to power?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used to be one of those people because I used to think that that's what I wanted when I was younger. Like when I was younger and I was really going into my atheism route then. Man, people who believed in God used to pee me off, boy. I used to be
Mm,
like, how do you even know? Like, don't and I realized it's not because they believed in God, it's because they never had a good enough answer. And it's always the
mm,
answer that I was challenging. Like, oh, well, because the Bible says, like, yeah, but who wrote the Bible? Most people don't know that
mm-hmm,
answer. Then it's like, okay, well, do you know if Jesus exists? Before the internet, we didn't know. So now people are saying, like, well, we believe. And it's like, okay,
mm-hmm,
well, belief is not good enough for me because I really want to know where I come from. I want to know
right.
where I was born from, where my spirit came from, if spirit is real, if this, that, and the third. And I didn't realize at the time, but I literally and I had to be again when if you ever want a humbling experience,
Mm,
know that you hurt someone by accident and have that person come back to you and say, I forgive you. It's such
mm,
a humbling thing because so many people that I didn't think even listened to me back then because I was just like ranting and going like, man, like I don't know if this God thing is real. Like bump that
yeah.
or Lucifer is the angel of enlightenment and da da da. And I'm just going off on these things. My friends at the time, I used to talk to also a lot of men. I was a gamer girl back then. So
Mm.
back on Xbox and stuff, you hardly ran into any women on those spaces. And
Mhm.
I'm talking to them and I don't know they're taking in everything that I'm saying. And when one of my old friends came back, this was years ago, his name was Desmond, when he came back and he said he ended up being like this man, when I tell you, like, go with the flow, life is great, like he's glowing, he's 30 something, but he looking like he's still a teenager, like he is glowing. And I'm just like, hey, like, how's everything going this and the third? And he was like, like when we were younger, you said some things and I'll always have your back because I didn't realize how much truth you were speaking. And the
Mm.
reason why I started crying was because I remember how angry I was then. And I was so grateful that in my anger, I didn't hurt anyone. Like
Mm.
my, I guess one of the things I battle with is if people ever give me a chance and listen to me, will I lead them astray from what the truth actually is? And it
Mm.
goes back to your heart-mind coherence, right? Because I might know there's one truth, but like you said, the heart gives nuance.
Mhm.
So the mind will say it's one truth. You will recognize that this is true, but the way people walk and the way people move is their own unique way, and you have
Yes.
to allow that way to be because we all come to pass in an infinite amount of ways. So when I used to be angry, not more so angry at Christians or Jews or something, but more so angry at the answer of like, why is this not fitting with me? Come to find
Mhm.
out, I was thinking more with my mind, not with my
Mm.
heart. Because if I thought just with my heart, I would just be like, oh, okay, like I know this stuff to be true, but I don't care about it too much. Like it's just like, okay, as long as you treat me well, that's fine. But there
Yeah.
was something that was wanting to figure out the how. Like, how can I prove this to people? How could I make a universal language so where no matter where people come from, we all know we're saying the same things. We're just saying it all in different ways and stuff like that. And when my friend came back to me and said that to me, the reason why it humbled me is because I didn't think or I didn't remember that that was always my calling.
Mm.
Even when I didn't remember, God gave me grace anyway. Because that was
Mm.
always a private prayer of mine. My private prayer was just like, man, if anyone ever gives me the chance to speak and listens to me, and let's just say they never fact check me, let's just say they never go behind me, they never check anything I'm saying, they're basically using me as a primary source. They will never go beyond what I'm telling them. And I used
Mm.
to cry for nights on end. Even to this day, I could say that I still cry in that power, right? Or the acknowledgement of it, because all it takes is one person. And you have to always wonder if that one person is there, are you leading them to truth or away from it? And
Mm.
that's something that used to be and still remains to be a burden on me. It's something
Mhm.
that I always pray, and it's a humility too, to say, I'm made as a vessel, I'm made as an expression of you. And I want to make sure I serve in my utmost potential. I want to make sure that I serve in my utmost function of
Yeah.
whatever you express me to be here. And when my friend said that to me, it was one of those things to where, again, I get emotional thinking about it again, but it goes back to what you were saying with there's nuance and there's truth. And the balance of both is really important. And if you really, really think about it, the intent always comes first.
Mm.
Intent always comes first. God and the universe and everything will protect you and your karma if you move with a good heart, if you move with a heart of love that you know you wouldn't want anyone treating you like. So, for
Mm.
example, I didn't want to set Desmond astray. I thought I was telling him the truth. I thought I was telling him all this stuff until I realized how angry I was. And then come to find out, guess what he heard? He didn't hear any of that anger from me.
Mhm.
He heard only the words I was saying. He didn't hear any of the veracity. He didn't hear any of the hurt. He didn't hear any of that because my private prayer was that I don't give my hurt to others.
Mm.
And all he heard was the same thing we talk about now. Like, yeah, man, like you had me look into a lot of stuff. And I just feel really free now. And I feel like I'm just moving through earth and I'm walking, I'm visiting different countries. I'm just like, you could never think at 14 years old while we sitting there on Xbox Live that this would be a reality. But the heart is so important and how you
Mm.
move. And like you said, you could be creative and you can have all these ideas and everything's great. But the heart, like you're saying, gives it meaning. It
Mhm.
literally is breathing in the life of whatever that idea is. Because without it, it's just an idea. No one knows its function. No one knows its purpose. It's just like, oh, you made this thing, but what is it? But if I created something and I said, well, this thing is a such and such and such. That's me giving it life. Because if I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there and I just made something, what would everyone would do the same thing I'm doing, right? They'd be like, oh, well, that's a this. And no, no, no,
Yeah.
that's this, that's a that. And it's just like, well, the artist is not here. The creator is not here to say what it is. So what is it? So we give stuff life a lot, but it
Mm-hmm.
always is, like you said, going back to understand that the heart is so important in that dance. It's so important in acknowledging that balance of whether it be darkness or light. The same extremity is too much heart, too much brain.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Balance
And the
in
heart
the
still
middle.
needs boundaries too.
Yeah, yeah, like
Otherwise you just
emotionally,
be
emotional and
giving, giving,
regularity
giving,
is
giving,
real.
giving, and overextending and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
over.
Over, over,
Just
over. It's true. And that's why I
yeah.
said I feel like the heart's a little bit more forgiving, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it really is something to where it's also more powerful, in my opinion. The heart is definitely more powerful. Um, and there is a such thing as emotional regularity. There's jumping to rash decisions, which they say rash, but I mean like emotional decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, well, I just feel this, but it's like, wait a minute. Like nothing has to happen right now. Just wait. No, well, I feel passionate about this. Is like, wait a second. Like, listen, you're gonna have all the time, but just breathe, calm down,
Mm-hmm.
bring that emotional high down,
Yeah.
and then let's talk this through. Let's talk this out. And then, like you said, when you get spiritually into it, shoot, don't don't even talk about that. When everything line up and you're talking to your spiritual self, you're gonna find out some movie. You're gonna be like, dang, what's happening? You're like, no, I'm just chilling. I'm just at peace. That's what the most spiritual people are like. Yeah, we just chilling.
Mm.
You know, life is life
Yeah.
and life is beautiful. And but this is that and there going on in the world. It's like, yes, I didn't say it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say war isn't happening. I didn't say poverty isn't happening. I didn't say homelessness isn't happening. I'm contributing the peace I want to see.
Mm.
Well, what are you doing about it? I'm contributing the peace I want to see. I'm
Yeah.
contributing the love I want to see everyone doing.
Yeah. 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 I think that to me that's like one of the biggest um it's not even a qualm with religion, but I think religion feeds into it a lot really easily.
Mm.
But needing like your way to be the right way to be the only way, you know.
Oh,
And I
exclusivity. Yeah. I
yeah, and
fight
I
against
think
that a
that's
lot. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
for
it's
sure.
like there's this incapacity to be able to hold both truths because that means you're negating like that means the other one doesn't exist anymore now. Like you said, no one said that. I know that there's still famine and war and all that going on around me, but I can't contribute from a dysregulated space just to say I'm doing something because you want to see me doing something because that makes
And I'm
you
not
feel
ruler of
better.
7 billion people to where I could just get. And honestly, I would have to kind of look at myself like, can I even imagine 7 billion people? Probably not. Like, it's like, so you have to bring an ego everywhere that you go and humble
Mm-hmm.
yourself everywhere that you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you were saying, I'm sorry, to the religion and exclusivity.
Oh no, that was it. That was it. I said it.
But no, I completely agree with you. The exclusivity is what I feel like people fight over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we know women or the feminine, divine feminine wasn't there because that's an ego thing, that's a mind thing. Oh, my way is the only way and it's the true way and it's the right way. It's like, listen, the right way that you're talking about, you didn't even make.
Mm.
The right way was the right way and the truth before you was here. So that means everyone walks back. Like no matter what you say, and everybody walks back. So it don't matter. Again, the fight is not if you find yourself through Krishna, Buddha, Confucius, Jesus, Muhammad, the prophet to come, the flow and the light, cosmology, indigenous,
Mm-hmm.
astrology, numerology, geometry, science, entropy, physics, metaphysics, philosophy, theology. It's not the path that you're walking. It literally, because everyone comes back. It's literally how you would treat yourself if you met yourself on your walk. That's it.
Mm.
Everything else can be solved within that one question. If you met yourself as an atheist, how would you treat yourself? Whatever you feel strongly about, like if you was talking to the most, I don't know what it would be, anti-spiritual, never met a spirit in my life, never encountered a ghost, never whatever that opposite side of you is, how would you treat you? And if you can answer that question, or even if you could ponder it every day, then you have humanity inside of you.
Mm.
Because dichotomy shows you that there is an opposite you on the planet. There's someone completely opposite of who you are. But does that mean y'all fight when y'all see each other, or do y'all embrace each other? Does that mean y'all build together, or y'all destroy together? I think that that's one of the most pivotal questions we can ask being here is that
Yeah.
is how to embrace yourself. And religions, yeah, most religions, a lot of religions that used to believe in the inner gnosis and give divine feminine, divine masculine its equal standing, got
Mm-hmm.
destroyed and suppressed. Um, Before I would say like 3,000 years ago, around 2,500 years ago, because it didn't do any good for everyone to just say, oh, you wanna become like God, just go within, right? Because it's just like, well, that's
Mm-hmm.
not powerful. Like it's like so now people say, no, if you wanna make it to heaven, you gotta come to church. And then who do we know is in church? And who do we know profits from the church?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, okay, you're making it seem like my spiritual salvation has to do with how much tithe I give or how much I know the Bible. But if I know a lot of the Bible, but I treat people like garbage, that's also not salvation either. I can quote the Bible all day and still not know how to hold a conversation. Or like you say, the head and the heart, right? I can know all the
Mm-hmm.
facts behind every religion on earth. I can know the history it came from. I can know the anthropology. I can know the history. I can know all that stuff, the geological position, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can't even have a conversation with someone to let them know that I love them and to let them know that I understand them, then what the heck is all the point of me having all this information in my head? It has to be for my ego, just for me to sit here and go like, hey, listen, I don't care if you're my friend or not. F you, you're lying, and that's it. And what did we learn with this era? Men have everything they could ever want,
And
and
still causing havoc.
they're unaliving themselves at a rate never seen before.
Mm-hmm. And that part too.
Yeah, it's literally what they call the a epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
It's an unaliving epidemic. It's like because you guys lived in this world where logic cannot replace the heart; it works alongside it. And
Mm-hmm.
because you repressed and suppressed the physical embodiment of what heart and spirit looks like on planet Earth, you guys lost it. And it's not that femininity doesn't exist to anyone, but we are divine femininity represented. We are
Mm-hmm.
divine femininity manifested. The same way you guys are divine masculine represented. So you guys literally took us and suppressed us down, and you are wondering why? You're
Mm-hmm.
unaligning yourself after you have all the money, the cars, the jobs, the data, you guys can create money with crypto. Like y'all could create money now. Like it's like money is practically irrelevant, and you still can't wonder why you don't like each other, why y'all still fight. I
Mm-hmm.
don't look to understand each other, y'all look to conquer each other. Women bring that understanding. Divine, they either call it divine feminine or like the downside triangle, the inner.
Mm-hmm.
We bring the understanding. We bring the love. We bring the compassion. Not that you have to love everything into freaking harmony and existing with each other. Listen, as much as you love a tiger, if a tiger gonna get hungry, it's gonna eat you. But you could love it while it's eating you. Like you can say, hey, listen, I get it. You had to eat. You hungry. Then I'm gonna sacrifice myself to you. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
But we have always been the inner working. So as you guys were figuring out the how, you forgot our why. You forgot
Mm.
why it matters that you understand your enemy. You forgot why it matters that Dr. Martin Luther King didn't make that a black and white thing. He made it a humanity thing. The
Mm-hmm.
same way Mahatma Gandhi made it a humanity thing. The same way the Bible makes it a humanity thing. Jesus makes it a humanity thing. Like, oh, no human should be going through this, no matter what
Yeah.
you're saying. You see what I'm saying? So it's just
Yes.
like we are in that position, and I'm grateful for it. But the heart and mind space make it something that divine feminine, whether it be the femininity of men or we are gonna lead it. Women are gonna lead it, but the femininity in men is gonna have to be the ones to humble themselves first and be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, we really just outcasted our leaders and we outcasted our mentors. And that is why the world is over masculine. That's why it's over informational. That's why it's over
Mm-hmm.
analytical. That's why people are sitting here trying to cure population control with killing people. It's like, how could you think population control is killing people? Do you not? Humanity is meant to survive. I
Mm-hmm.
think you would start figuring out if we can make it to the moon or not before you start killing each other. Like, it's just like, that's not a cure. Is to say, oh, yeah, we have to have war sometimes because if we let too many people have babies, you know what I mean? Oh, we're gonna put GMOs in the food because if too many of you survive, like that's not the cure of humanity. Like, how could you think that that is what the source? You would think the source would want you to do that, really?
Mm.
So yeah, it's really something that I hope I'm excited about. I'm excited about the transition to
Yeah.
femininity coming back into the space, and us being leaders, not leaders that are like that you have to uncover. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
kind of dig through a book and kind of find out. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, there was founding mothers and founding fathers. You know what I mean? Like there was founding wives. You know what I mean? The women who, the men used to come home, I can't believe Jefferson, blah, 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 blah. And bring
And giving ideas through their love. Well, babe, have you thought about it this way?
pillow talk, you already know.
Have you looked at it, tried to flip it around and turn it upside down yet?
Yeah, exactly. And it reminded me of that, that trick where they always say that the man is trying so hard with a pickle jar to open it because he's using too much force, and the woman comes in like,
Hmm.
dink, and it opens. It's like that. It's just like, yo, we always, yeah, I can't believe, da, 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 da. And you'd be like, well, did you think about it like this? No. It's like, okay. Okay, honey. So how about you think about it like that? And you could, again, that doesn't have to be your partner. It could be any man in your life, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited for it, but not the ones we have to dig through, the ones that are gonna sit here and really, really take up the mantle, the ones that, and divinity will make it so.
Yes.
Divinity will make it so to where
Yeah.
we come to acknowledge ourselves because that is spiritual acknowledgement. That's spiritual knowledge
Hmm.
that you are the dark and light of yourself, but not to fight, to dance, to accept, to
Mm,
hug, to embrace, to
mm,
love on. Love
mm.
as itself and know what it's doing for you, And yeah, it's just, again,
Mm.
I always tell you how grateful I am to be in this time for real because I meant to say that earlier in the thing that we were talking in, but yeah, shift is coming and everyone can feel it.
Yeah.
And when they talk about us in the history books, when they talk about this part in the history books, it's gonna be like, yeah, this was the shift. Maybe they won't call it the shift because like we have to
Hmm.
title everything and everything has to be specific, but it'll be like, yeah, there was something that's happening, and then after this time, humanity became more peaceful. Humanity started
Hmm.
in the work. You saw people, oh, one thing that'll definitely be more people are in therapy more than ever before. So maybe that'll be looked at in history, but it's like, yeah, a lot of people started seeking coaches, mentors, guides, therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists. And it's just
Yeah.
like, well, why that? And history will have a fond memory of, I would hope, as we elevate and evolve, that they would have a fond memory of us trying to get it back together, trying
Hmm.
to end the voluntary suffering that we talked about in the beginning of the episode. It's like this is our
Yes.
trying to end that.
Yes. Yes. Well, I know I'm definitely on the train of ending the voluntary
Girl,
suffering.
listen, girl. Listen. Ain't no way. It's like, listen,
Take it, Lord. Take
take all of it. On some real talk. It's just like, It's like we already got it. It's like, yo,
it.
I know my time is my time is finite.
Hmm.
So it's like, yo, just give me more peaceful days than not, which I can't say at
Yes.
31, 32 rather. But yeah, I can't say he hasn't given me more peaceful days or they haven't given me more peaceful days than not. But I'm looking for more to come. I'm looking
Yeah.
for peaceful and funny and exciting and growing
Yeah.
and even challenging to a point. Challenging,
Okay. Right. Don't get crazy.
challenging days,
Don't get
growing
crazy.
days. But yeah, for me and my loved ones, for real, because again, what if all this just ends with us sitting at a table together talking about, yeah, so what did you experience down there? And us just telling
Mm.
stories. Yeah, in the last 500 years, I came back over here and I did that over there, and such and such and such. And it's like, okay, and what did you learn? And you sitting at the table like, let me go back. I'll come back. I got it. I'll come back.
Child. I'd be damned.
Right, right. You imagine, listen, you know how many times I've heard in the comments, I'm not coming back here no more. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
a star, I'm gonna be a player, I'm gonna be something, but I'm not coming back. And I'm like,
I, you're funny. I do feel
no.
like I will. This has been my wish, hope. Because I don't feel I've had this conversation with other friends before. Of like I don't feel like I'm going to come back. This is
Mm,
when I intuitively asked my spirit how many lifetimes I've lived. They said at least 1,000. So I know I've lived at least 1,000 lives. I don't feel like I've been on Earth for a very long time. That's why I feel it feels like I think that's why a lot of my journey I feel like an alien almost. I'm just like
mm.
not understanding, And I was like, I don't think I've been
Like
here in a while.
starseed
I think it's
energy
been
or. Like
Yeah,
a
I definitely. Well, I
person?
definitely have starseed background, but I don't think I've been incarnated on into Earth in a very long time.
I got you.
Because when I this like when I do my own like past life regressions, just intuitively, I haven't gone to see anyone about this. Just like kind of dropping in, just to kind of get a clarity around some of the lessons that I'm experiencing. And a lot of my memories are like early 1800s, 19th or 18th century, 19th century, right? More 18th century. So like a long time ago. I'm like, I don't think I've been back here. I think it's been a while since I've been here. That's why it feels new to me, even though I have a very old soul and I'm very wise, you know. So I've never, I kind of deduced that to my own this personal insight. But like my hope and prayer is that I come back to guide my kin, you know, my children, whoever,
Mm,
whatever that looks like, and whatever way that looks like, to be a spirit guide for them, you know.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
dope. But you listen, you've always said that as long as me and you've been friends, you're like, and I don't feel like I'm here. Like I don't feel like I belong to this earth. I think one of the things you said you were sleeping. You feel like it was a dream.
Oh yeah, I did tell you
Mhm.
that. Yeah,
And I
like I
was
was
like,
gonna wake up
girl, you need
and
to
be
play
like,
Expedition 33 because that whole thing was about a dream. And I was just like, no, it's dope. But no, it's true. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, do you maybe there's someone on the show that would just be like, man, where the heck they going with this? And it's like, well, someone can resonate with it. Even
yeah, for
if you don't know who
sure.
that person is, you know who I know resonates with that? Children.
Mm.
Because children feel foreign. You know what I mean? They're really
Mm-hmm.
trying to get their lives and stuff together. But if you tell a kid that they are alien, they believe you. They be like, oh,
They sure
yeah,
will believe you.
right.
I'm like, Mom, Mary said I'm an alien. They get real scared. Wait a minute. Is it true?
I was like, no, they alien.
Oh my god.
No, it's dope though. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's like, oh, I don't know if you heard about this, but apparently, I don't know if this is verified or not, so we'll put it in the comments or in the description or whatever. But apparently there was like this Russian scientist, like this Russian group that found out where the soul goes. Like they were
Mm,
able to like see the soul leave a body. I could be butchering this, but I know it was Russian scientists, and I know that the claim was that they saw light leave the body, like they were basically watching someone transition and the light left, and then the light just shot off and they were able to track it apparently, and it tracked to some galaxy that's out there somewhere. So the first thing I thought was Starseed in my head, but I was just like, it
right.
it struck off and it went faster than like, I don't know, sound, I don't know what it was, but they just followed the
Ooh. Ooh,
orb and they said,
I just got chills. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
that's what it reminded me of. So I was just like, oh, like there's nothing saying that can't be true. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, maybe. So the way I saw it was that if when I was thinking about my uncles that transitioned the other day, I was thinking,
Mm-hmm.
wow, like maybe that's why by the time we reincarnate or come back here, we don't remember. Or
Mm.
it's because, or it could be that when we choose to come back, people say, well, I don't want to be a human anymore. And I was like, yeah, for right now. But eventually
Mm.
you're gonna want to come back. Maybe eventually you miss the experience and you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, yeah, I'll be what they call them, an Andromedan or something. Like I'll be
Oh yeah.
that. Yeah, I'll be that for
Mm-hmm.
the next 2,000 years. But maybe there's something on that planet or in that system where you're just like, man,
I
I'm
gotta get
not
out of
coming
here.
back as this anymore. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay. And then you're like, and now you're in your human life, maybe a couple of times, you're just like, man, I don't know where I was before, but I want to go back. And it's just a teeter-totter back and forth, like forever. I mean,
I
forever,
totally
right?
can see that. I totally believe in something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, because
I
that's what I
do.
mean. Like, it's like I always said I wanted to come back as a star. And then I was
Mm.
like, yeah, but I'd be a star for like as long, I don't know how long stars last, but stars last for a very long time on Earth. So our sun hasn't exploded yet. So
Mm-hmm.
it hasn't died yet. So even in that, it's like I wanted to see all of humanity. I wanted to see all the life that I knew kind of evolve and grow. So I always wanted to come back as a
Mm.
star. But then, like you said, like me, you had that joke. Remember when I was just like, yeah, but we don't know if stars gossip. We don't know if like stars be getting into fights. Like they be like, yo, don't make me pulse you out. And they send in pulses to other things. And that's like flirting
You
with some
think?
stars, man, or
I don't
whatever.
think. You think?
Yes. Because, boo, we said with the lettuce, right? I really believe that. Just because you don't hear a lettuce speak does not mean it did not have aspirations to be with its kids before he died.
Mm.
I don't think lettuce thought that it would be a salad. I really don't. Because then why didn't God just make a salad? Why didn't God just manifest salads in front of you? You don't. You have to go out, you have to kill something, you have to pray and be grateful that life gives you life because you
Mm-hmm.
take it. You don't know what that life could have been. You just know you ended it. That's it. And you're just like, man,
Mm.
this lettuce really tastes good. But it's like, but the aspiration of the lettuce was not to taste good. The aspiration of the lettuce was just to
Mm.
be a lettuce, right? Like it was just to be a bulb of lettuce. And
Mm.
I swear to God, I crack myself up all the time. Don't pay me no mind. I'm being so silly. But
But it's so
yeah, it's the same
such
thing with stars and
a
stuff like that. It's like they say the
perspective.
star, the sun beats, it pulsates. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, oh, there's nothing saying that the sun is not alive either if it's pulsating. And I was just like, oh, so then maybe other stars pulsate. Maybe stars are alive. Maybe they talk and we just can't hear them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're looking at Earth like a Love and Hip Hop episode. We don't know. Maybe Earth is just a giant TV, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, you see what's happening over there? Yo, she got the most dramatic Earth that I've ever seen." It's just like and we just going off on each other. But I'm interested. Like it makes me really love everything. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, there's levels to this. So to your
Mm-hmm.
point of you saying, hey, listen, 1,000 years, I might be another thing, or like I feel like I wasn't like I've been here for 1,000 lifetimes, but then it's like after this, you're gonna go and you're gonna go away. I'm like, Nick, again, we all we know is divinity.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing saying that anything you could come from a whole nother lineage of a whole nother star seed on a whole nother side on the galaxy, outside this galaxy even. And it's just like, yeah, I just chose to come back here. Because that's the point of I think what we teach and I think that's what the Order of Remembrance is found on. It's not that you can't be somewhere else. It's not that you couldn't have
Mm-hmm.
been something else. You have to remember why you chose this.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could have came back the daisy. You could have came back the plastic that made that water bottle that you're drinking. You could have came back as
This
anything.
is glass. This is glass. This
Oh,
is glass.
girl, I'm sorry. You could have came back as the stand that made that glass. Sorry, but you could have came back as anything. But why this? Why did you come back as this? So I don't
Right.
think it doesn't feed into the whole thing of like we're not capable to be whatever. You can be whatever you want to be after you transition this. The goal is to figure out why you chose this. And I think it speaks to
Mm.
power. It speaks to our power and the beauty of us forgetting on purpose. Because if we
Mm.
remembered why, I mean, like, then why did you choose to live? If you can remember from birth what you came here for, then why did you manifest? Like, the
Mm.
experience is the whole point. The experience to remember to do all that
Mm.
stuff is the point of living, which a lot of religions also talk about too. Like
Mm.
you said, when they're not trying to be exclusive with their prophets and all that, it's just like, yeah, the experience is the point. The path is the point. It's not the destination. They've always said it's the journey.
Woo! Mic drop.
I can't with you. You mean
That's it. I feel complete. That was like a nice little bow.
so you are you gonna so you're not you're I'm gonna be a star and you're gonna be where in the galaxy? You're gonna be on the other side or you're gonna be like
I'm
on one
gonna
of the
be.
legs?
I'm
Like where
gonna
you
be
gonna
like
be
in the.
at?
I'm gonna be like in the fifth dimension for a little bit. I just
All
gotta watch
right.
my
I'm
kinfolk
gonna send some
for a
pulses up your
second.
way.
I just gotta keep an eye on my kinfolk for a little minute, and then I let them go.
Nice. Okay. Okay.
I let them be.
Listen, I'm gonna
You
find a way
know.
to communicate with you somewhere. I'm gonna be like, I know she up there somewhere. I know she around. Like she around
Oh yeah.
somewhere for real.
Hmm.
But no, I
But I
love
guess
that.
technically I would still be like. I, don't- I guess part of me I guess would still be in the third dimension if I'm able to. Well, I guess no, it wouldn't be 3D. It would be like I guess like a 5D 6D kind of situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to haunt people.
No, not haunt guide.
When someone go through, you be like, "Oh, I feel like chilling." Make you be like, "Ha." I
Just more of
can't.
like a spirit. I'm gonna be Mufasa. That's what I'm gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like when I need to tell Simba to
Remember who?
remember who you
Yes,
are. That's gonna be me.
yes. You're gonna be the voice. You're gonna be the voice that people hear. I love. Oh, that fits right into what you do when you say you was the one telling me about tonalities and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
Everyone gonna hear that voice, your voice, and be like, "Remember who you are." Like, who the heck is that woman? Everyone hear it, right? You heard it too. It's like, yeah, I heard it too.
Oh, I
And
would love that.
come to find out, you're like, I'm just the voice of the source. That's it.
It's the voice of source. I
But
love
don't that
that.
sound great though? Like that,
It
it sounds
does.
like such a minimal task. But what if everyone heard your voice when they thought of source?
Ooh.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that feels
Listen,
good.
girl, listen, look. My all I know is that my physical seeds will be here for a
Mm.
time. So if that's the case, I look forward to it. I look forward to them going like, man, I hear someone's voice. I was like, yeah, that's probably my friend. She tell you not to go down that street. She tell you to walk the other way.
Oh man, I love that. That is
Mhm.
hilarious.
But it's how goofy we get, guys. We're just letting you know,
Ah,
guys and gals. This is how it's goofy, but is it really? Hmm.
yeah,
Think about
yeah.
it. Feel it. Feel it. Feel it.
Yes,
Feel
feel
it.
it.
Feel about it. Feel about it.
Feel
That's what I'm gonna start
about
saying. Feel
it.
about it. Feel about it. Hmm.
Feel
But
about it.
this has been
Mm,
another great episode. Like, again, it's everything, soul edifying, educational, informational, heartfelt.
mm.
Like, it's, again, I can only hope and pray that um, we resonate. Our stories resonate, what we've come to know. I mean, again, wise or not wise, 31 or 301, whatever the case may be, in our 30s or in our 3000s,
Mm.
but we we hope that's something that we said resonates with you all, and we just hope to continue remembering with all of you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
until next time, ladies and gents, this has been another episode of the Order of Remembrance.
Yes.
Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you liked our episode. Please feel free to hit us up in the handles. That is Amikle Amani at On the Cusp Wellness, and that's Arian
Yes.
Aparicio at I am Coach Aparicio or aabyd.com. And until next time, love and light to every one of you. And this has been your Order of Remembrance.
Yes. Go be great.
Go be great.